Live. Hey, we're live. It's the Bob and Tam Show.
Hi, how are you?
All right, so let's get everything going here so we can. The computer's kind of far away. We have a couple guests. They may show up, they may not. See how that all works out. And we'll get everything on, put it on our Facebook pages. Okay, there I am. Hey, on there.
See yourself?
Let me go back here, copy it, post it. We always have this fine delay while we get everything up and going.
So I see Janice is on. She says she's early. And Neil's on. Dennis is on. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? I saw Wyatt. Oh, my gosh, he looks bigger than he should be. Guess he's 13 years old now. How about that? Shelly's on. She says, hey, BFF. How you doing? Mike's on. I sent him a notification to let him know we were going to be on. Saul's on. Saul Solis. Saul number 2. We have 2 Sauls at Arizona Bike Week, and I got him mixed up there for a minute. Neil says he'll be in Rapid City on. I already got a commercial. I can't believe it. Go. There we go. Now I'm back on live chat. On the 31st at late at night, coming through Delta.
Guess you got your own ride in then if it's going to be late at night.
I don't know that, or maybe Beth. Maybe Beth's going to bring it. He never did say. He did tell me that. Brianna Richards is on. Hey, how are you doing? If that's the same Brianna that's with Jack Pine Gypsies, or another Brianna that we met down there at Harley Square. Steven's on. Says prayers. I just had gotten your notification of your prayers tonight already.
Church time.
Yep, I did. Saul says number 2, laugh out loud. The only reason you're number 2 is because the other Saul talked to me first. So
and I had no idea.
You're still number 1 in our book. Saul's is the one. Saul number 2 is the one I let him use my glasses on the ride home because he forgot his nighttime glasses. We were out late that night and he didn't have any clear glasses, so I let him use mine because I was going to be on the back of the bike.
Oh, let's see.
And then Neil says costing me almost $2,000. Neil, if I was you, I would reroute that and I would just say, I would just do it one way. I would go back to Seattle and then go, if Seattle has a direct flight to Rapid, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do, he's stopping like in 5 different places. He's going from Lewiston, Idaho to Salt Lake City or to Denver, then to Salt Lake City, then to Dallas, then to Chicago, then to Rapid City. That's why he's getting in at almost midnight. So Evil Empire's on. Hey there, how are you doing? Brianna says, no, we met in Sturgis last year. Yes, on the square. Okay. Then you're right, Brianna, I was thinking about. There was 2. The other one is the president for Jack Pine Gypsies, or she was. Her dad was, and then she is now. He said he tried everything today, all day. I don't know, Neil. It'll be a long day for you that day then when you're flying in. So did you get everything put on everything? Uh-oh. There you go. It's usually me. Don's on. Don Mason. He says, evening, folks. All is well with both of you. Yes. Doing good. And hopefully we won't get sick. We went and visited the daughter in California, and her husband was on the pot all day Saturday. So
hopefully he won't be sick. And so what all we have going on is we're getting ready for Sturgis. You might be thinking, hey, Sturgis isn't until August 7th. Remember, we arrive August 10th.
June 10th.
Yeah, June 10th. So we're going to head out here on Saturday. Going to take a nice slow drive up. We had the trailer all hooked up the other. Oh, we went to Vegas with it. That's right. Days. So Sturgis right now is 68 days from today is the official opening day of the Sturgis motorcycle. So a lot of people are asking for the video we did the other day. A lot of questions came in about, when is the best time to come? Anytime's good other than in the wintertime. But about 2 weeks ago, it snowed 2 weeks ago in Deadwood. So when we were in Myrtle Beach, they had snow. Crazy things can happen. So you got to watch all that kind of stuff. So that's what's bad. Typically here, I would say from, as we're going to be there, the whole time we're going to be there, the weather could fluctuate. And like I say, the very first time we ever went to Sturgis, it actually was about 35 degrees one night and it snowed. Nothing that accumulated, but that could happen. Been there and it's been 105 degrees.
I know. That was when I told him, make sure there's an air conditioner in that shed. And there was an air conditioner, but there wasn't a heater.
And so you
We need a
never,
heater.
you will never know it's going to rain somewhere in the Black Hills during that time. Make sure you bring your rain gear, all the typical things. You just got to bring like us. We don't bring a lot of leathers and all that. We do have chaps that we bring. I haven't worn the chaps in a long time. 35 degrees, I probably wouldn't have one in anyway, but depending on how far I was going to ride. But I mean, we don't wear leather jackets. We actually have like those neoprene ones. We have those. We have a hoodie. We kind of layer up in a couple different layers. That way, as the day warms up, you can change because like the year that was 105 degrees in Sturgis, you could get up into the hills and it was actually like the high 80s, low 90s.
Nice,
Really good.
Nice riding.
Once you come down that hill, getting into Deadwood, and then once you got into Sturgis, oh my gosh, you're gonna get. But yes, that elevation will change as you ride. So the trick is get up in the morning early
Right.
and get out and do your ride, and then come back when it's starting to get a little dust, where the sun's not beating down on you getting back. If you're in the city, if that's where
A couple. I was going to write down some of these questions.
you're. Unless you read the paper.
No, there's some down there, I guess. So Neil says, where you at? We're home right now. Haven't been on in a while. Life's been busy. Yep, life gets in the way, doesn't it? Art's on down there from, I think he's over in, why the notes go away when the commercial comes up. Down there in, I think he lives in Clearwater, Tampa area. Carol S. is on. How you doing? George is on. Hey, George, how you been? I need to talk to you. God says I have to talk to you before I buy a sidecar. Neil says, friend in Ohio just called and told me your grandson's 7, no, and 12 got killed in a car accident. Oh my gosh. So prayers go out to them. 17-year-old ran a stoplight. Yeah, so that's terrible. Prayers for that family. XM Biker's on. He says, howdy y'all. And Saul says, Carla says we will be there. Oh, that is Carla. Carla and Saul. So it is the first Saul. I don't know. Now I got you two mixed up. That Saul's married to Carla. The other Saul, I don't think is married. And Jeff Hooper's on. He says, hi, guys. Okay, go ahead.
All caught up. So if you look above us, we are getting set up again with Twisted Tea, with a YouTube channel in the whole United States and the whole world that is a sponsor, or they're a sponsor of a YouTube channel. So that's kind of special. And it's all about because we're Billy's buddy.
Billy's pretty cool.
And
I need another pen.
we had
That
talked
one don't
about,
work.
we talked to Billy in Turtle Beach and kind of talked to him. He already had told us kind of like in Panama City that he wanted to do something, kind of wanted to figure out how he did. So we did a bunch of cool clips that we're going to find out. And we'll start that probably once we get to Sturgis, probably 11th or 12th. You'll start seeing some plugs for Twisted and you'll see what's going on. We're giving something away.
Yep.
So-
They're giving something away.
Yeah.
We're not. We're
Okay.
going to show you how to do it.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of exciting. So you guys can check that out. So
Right.
should have checked your.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking about that. I was busy talking to other people. There, that one worked. All right.
So we're so that's where we're at. We're at Twisted. That's all gone. A couple of the sponsors on our list are gone. If you see that they're there, some of the sponsors we've had have said they're going to send money, and they never did. So a couple names have dropped off at the end down there. We did put Red Rock Harley on. They don't actually give us any money, but they do help us with the veteran bikes. They're working on getting us that second one soon. But they do always let us park the car there. That saves us a couple $100 a week by letting the car stay on their property, all in the fence, all secure, all that kind of good stuff.
Instead of at the airport when we fly out.
And they give us a discount on parts and anything I need for the bikes and stuff like that, veteran bikes and stuff. That's really cool. So we added them to our sponsor. They do help us out.
Have you made any decisions about Ocean City in September? Don wants to know.
No, we need to call Emory HVAC.
Yes, we.
I told her the other day and talk to him and
I need to make a list of who I need to call.
So what it's rolled down to is the East Coast is getting to where we're just not breaking even anymore. And so that's where it's come down to where the rallies, right now we're talking to them about Panama City not Panama City, Oktoberfest down in Daytona. We're supposed to call them tomorrow and talk to them and get that all ironed out. It looks like we're probably going to be going back there. We're just trying to figure out exactly where we're going to stay. We were offered an opportunity. And then when I talked to that person, they were like, I don't know now. And so we have to go back and call our original person we stayed with last time and see what he says and make sure we got a bike and all that good stuff and all that. So we'll let you know on that real soon. But right now, Sturgis is on. We were originally thinking about doing Lake of the Ozarks, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, and
The hog rally.
the hog rally that's in Branson. All that's within a 30-day span. But unless Sturgis does really, 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 really good, that's out of the question. I would really like to do it, but the problem is Bikes Blues and Barbecue. We lost Cat House. That was a sponsor. That's actually who set us up with the place to stay. They gave us the hotel, they covered it and all that. So we don't really have a place where if this time we were thinking about dragging the trailer, I could get a place closer to Rogers, but I really don't want to be there. I want to be closer to Eureka Springs because that's where the cool riding's at. That's where all the cool stuff's at. You can always ride over there to Rogers for all the events, the dealership, and all that. So that's where we're at with that. Lake of the Ozarks, we never made a phone call yet. That's probably, we can still get there where we are. So we'll see how it all works out. At this moment, it's not on the list.
So still up in the air.
Yes.
A little iffy. So Neil says, he says, get twisted. Keep it twisted. That's what you say. And George said to call him anytime about the hot sidecar. Yep. Neil says, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit that if you're on.
So if you're watching about Sturgis, because I did put this on our Sturgis channel too, there's a lot of things are going to be going on. So when we get there, there's a lot of things we're going to be giving you a lot of updates on. We'll start off at the top, the Knuckle. It is completely remodeled inside and out. Name
Curtis,
the owner there, he's been doing so much. He's been doing a lot of little videos, but he's not giving you that big pan shot. He's kind of got his head in there. He's talking and showing you kind of behind him, but he's not really giving you that big look at what's going on. So we're going to give you that. The Buffalo Chip has done all kinds of updates. Their top layer there where the big engine bar is at, they've done a lot of work too. Once again, nobody's showing you any of that stuff. We're going to get out there and show you that. What else is going on is a full throttle saloon. They've actually got the other building all done now with the t-shirts. I think they've added another 6,000 square feet to the t-shirt thing. So it's like, it's almost like Walmart now going in there. It's going to be so big. That's all going to be going on. They've done a bunch of more updates there. They've been calling me and stuff and saying, oh, you're not going to believe when you get here. You're not going to know the place. So I'm really excited. Those are just a few. We've got a couple new roads that have opened up that are going to turn into being some great rides to go on. People always say, well, I've rode them all. No, you haven't. There's so many roads out in the Sturgis Black Hills area. It's impossible to say you've rode on all of them. Even if you lived out there, you may not hit them. Because sometimes it ends up being that some of the neighborhoods, we made a wrong turn one time. And if
in Rapid City.
Yeah. And we were winding through these roads and I said, wasn't for the stupid speed bumps, I could have got some speed up and we could have had a good time on this road. Ruin that pen too.
I don't know. Quit.
Stick with the pencil.
Maybe. So we also need to talk about them. Get Mandy.
So if you're looking at Sturgis, a lot of the campgrounds still have some hookups available. So of course we're staying at the Kathmandu. Anytime we will be on Kathmandu's property from the 24th on
of June.
Yep. So from the 10th to the 24th, we are going to be at the Sturgis RV Park. They need us to do some stuff for them, some advertising. And so we're going to work with them for those first 2 weeks, but we're going to be constantly doing
all kinds of stuff.
Yes. So we still do our normal thing that we do, but we're going to be spending some time there, a couple hours every them. So, and helping them with their social media and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're going to be helping them on that. So anytime is good to come. If you're looking at during the rally right now. So Kathmandu still has some electric and water hookups available. They have no sewer hookups at all and no cabin. Now tents, boondocking, everybody has that. So don't anybody ever tell you you can't show up the day before and find a place to stay. So that is not a problem. If you're looking for a cabin, there is some strays here and there. Neil had just talked to Susie's campground.
Randy.
He had a cabin or so left over still. He hasn't rented. And I think he's still got maybe a full hookup spot still left. I did see the other day, Bill Pony had a cabin that came open, and also Days Inn had a cabin that came open. So a lot of these campgrounds, it's not a bad idea to just get on the phone and call them all, even if they say they're full. Say, hey, put my name in there.
They do have some cancellations.
Yeah. And so some people are canceling. Some of these campgrounds will there's some campgrounds that tell you too bad, your problem. You got to go find somebody or two. It's too bad. Now, some of the campgrounds you have to watch. So don't buy a campsite from somebody else unless you've called that campground and talked to them. For instance, Buffalo Chip, about 30 to 60 days before the rally, they do no transfer. I don't know exactly what the date is. Some of the other campgrounds are in the same boat. They just don't want to deal with moving stuff around. As you get closer to the rally, it's going to get more exciting for them.
More
strict.
hectic.
Yeah. So that's what you want to kind of look at. Now you could go all the way out to Shade Valley. They've got some hookups still left out there. They might even have some cabins still left out there, but it's 7 miles on the other side of the Buffalo Chip going out towards. We stayed out there once. It's a very nice campground. It's a cool place to be, but
if you're going to go back there at night, it's a windy, dark road. Lots of animals out.
So that's why one of the reasons they still got a lot of spots left. Places like Hog Wild, Hog Heaven, they're already sold out of everything. Once again, dry camping, everybody's got it. Happy Hoyle still has a few spots still left there. I think they got about 20 full, but pretty much Happy Hoyle has all their spots are full hookups for RV. Now they do have tent camping and all that stuff too. And so all that stuff's available too. So that's not a problem. Hotels, I just talked to somebody today that found a hotel at a very reasonable price, which I don't know what hotel it was. They're on the night, they might be telling you. That was over in Rapid City, and they got a pretty good deal. Right now, to get something in Sturgis, you're going to be looking between $300 and $500 a night during the rally. That's just the way it is, even Motel 6. And Steven said a comment the other day, and you just get to at Motel 6, you get to stay with bed bugs too. But there's no rumor. There's
no extra charge for the bed bugs.
But there's nobody's ever told us that there's bed bugs at any of the beds in Sturgis. I won't say where they come from. But typically, Sturgis probably would never have bed.
No, not that I know of. But you never know. I mean, even when we stay, sometimes we never put our clothes on the floor. That's number one rule. I don't care if we're staying at the Ritz-Carlton. You don't put your clothes on the floor. That's usually
the worst place. That's more likely. Because it's actually the people, which I'll say, it's actually the people that come from other countries who usually bring the bed bugs. Number one place to get bed bugs, San Francisco.
They have the worst place. And don't ever pick up a used mattress on the side of the road. Someone was just telling me a story. They thought, you know what? We always have like a movie night and the kids want to lay out on the floor and they always take the mattresses off the bed. Somebody was giving away a free mattress. So they picked it up and brought it home. Now their house is infested with bed bugs.
I met a guy when I was working for the gas company, and that's what happened. He had a buddy just stay overnight and got in the house. He brought him with him. So a lot of times it comes with your clothes. So you can't just putting your clothes in the laundry and running it through the dryer doesn't get it. It's got to be like 150 degrees temperature it takes to kill them. Why, like in California, they do the fumigation tents, but it's actually heat they put in there. And
it's not pesticides. They cook the critters. Crispy cooked critters. There you go.
So Sturgis is never too late to. I just talked to somebody. Actually, I won't say who he is, but he's one of these people. He's on a TV show, and I was talking to him the other day, and I said, "Are you going to go?" And he's like, I don't decide till like a day or two before the rally. He says, "I might decide on the 5th or something. I'll go up there." I said, "You staying in a tent?" He said, "Oh yeah, I'll bring my tent." Well, yeah, you'll always room to find tent, and there is places. Beth, if you go on our Sturgis page, our Facebook page, Beth has got some stuff still available on there. She's one of our subscribers here. We talk to her all the time. She's from Sturgis. She's got a bunch of houses and different things like that she rents out, rooms and different things like that.
A lot of time to vendors and things. So she's
got some stuff and just posted on there. Because there used to be a channel that had a Facebook page that let him post all that stuff, but I think it's gone. I don't see it anymore. Whoever had it must.
Oh, if Tammy was in charge of that or not, because they let a lot of people go from the city. So we'll see. When is their election? Is that this week?
Yeah, it's first.
The second. Second is Andrew Hill's on.
We'll find out who the new mayor is. Our previous mayor passed away of cancer.
Yeah.
And
he resigned, and I think within 30, not more than 60 days, he passed.
The last time I seen this council meeting he was on, his hair was all gray and everything, and it was like, wow, we just seen him a couple months ago.
Right after Sturgis, I would say within a month or two after Sturgis, he announced he had been diagnosed with cancer.
He had told
So-
us while we were there that he
So, yeah, he must have been pretty aggressive because
I
he's
saw him
already
afterwards.
gone. Yes.
So they got a new one. We have 2 people that are running for office. One is Tammy, which is actually from
The gun
the
store.
Sturgis gun shop that's there. She's running. And the other person is Rod, that he owns the Sturgis Hotel right there on Main Street and also owns the Oasis Bar. So he's been on our channel before and he's always let us sit over there. So both of them, I don't know who's going to be. They're both kind of different in the way they're looking to do stuff. I'm not going to talk politics here. I'm not going to say who I would have voted for or who I wouldn't have voted for. But we don't live in the city. Our lot's not in the city limits of Sturgis, so we wouldn't vote for that anyway. But I did comment a lot of times on some of the stuff they were talking about. One of them acts like they want to spend a bunch of money doing crazy stuff,
things.
putting a swimming pool in outside. They got an indoor swimming pool there in Sturgis, if you don't know. During the rally, they don't allow it to be open. You can use the showers and all that. They charge you for that.
At the community center.
Community center. But some of the people living there want an outside pool too. And I'm like, first of all,
Only use it 3 months out of the year.
yeah, that if you're lucky, you could use it. And I'm like, why would you, if you got an indoor pool, why would you want outdoor pool? I asked a couple people on the Sturgis pages, nobody ever did write me back. Why would you want an outside? And I think of the expenses that it's going to cost the city to maintain that pool, because every year they're going to have to blow all the lines out. And those seals and stuff and the pumps and all that stuff's going to go bad, not using it as much. So you're going to be constantly doing maintenance. And I don't know.
Lifeguards and all that
They
stuff.
think all these kids are going to use it, and not many people even use that swimming pool. Indoor pool.
I think they use it more for exercising purposes than actual
Seniors
swimming.
are using it probably more than anybody else. So a lot of people are trying to, because they were going to build a splash pool there years ago. And they got some money. I don't know anything about that. There's supposed to be some money. They raised money for it. And then they decided they were going to build this water park, and they spent $50 million property they were going to build it on. Well, it ended up being, I don't know, $400-500 million by the time it was going all done. They were going to take a lake out. They were going to blow up stuff that slides and stuff. And to me, I thought that's not going to last out there. And then once again, somebody's got to maintain all this, and you're going to have pay city workers. And that's what I told the one person that was running, that was wanting to do all this. I said, before you start spending money, they just cut a bunch of people's pay lap for this year in Sturgis, workers that work there. Why don't we give them their decent money that they could live on, decent wage,
Give their
before we build some
salaries
stupid
back.
pool that, maybe a handful of people maybe won't use.
Andrew Hill's on, and he said he's from Wisconsin. He can't wait. I think he's the one that stays out at the fish fry out there by the steel wheel off the 385 before you get into Lead and Deadwood. Pied Piper's on from North Carolina, Jersey. I don't know why.
So the fish and fry is totally sold out. They have the same amount of people come back every year. There's never a spot open up. But you can go across the street, that campground, you remember what the name of that one is?
Steel wheel.
Steel Wheel. That's not a bad place to stay. If you want to be in that general area, once again, you're away from everything. If you wanted to do like Sturgis at night, that would be tough. They were talking about having a shuttle bus. I don't know if the Steel Wheel ended up doing that last year
They
or
were
not.
going to, but
They were going to have a bus that was going to go out to the full throttle twice. But it would cost you if you were camping.
Right.
But you might call them and ask. I don't remember
So
that guy's name.
Devin also said Rochelle Bursch also running there.
Well,
So there's 3.
No, I hadn't heard nothing about her.
Nope.
So I didn't. But the 2 of them, Tammy's the one that's out there saying a lot of stuff. And the other 2 really aren't saying much other than, did that other one, what's her name you just said?
It says Rochelle.
Was she at the meeting that they
RICHELLA.
had at the chamber? Not at the chamber, but they had at City Hall there. Because I seen Rod there and I seen Tammy there, but I didn't see a third person.
So Xfire says, or Xan Biker says, good, Neil. I'm not only getting one. Oh, Neil want to know who got elected. The election is
Isn't-
Tuesday.
Yeah, so they probably won't know for a day or 2 afterwards. They always have to count the ballots and stuff. I think Tammy had put on there that there's like 5,000 people that are registered to vote. Seems kind of high, but I don't know.
Well, it's got 7,000.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
you're counting kids
I
and stuff
know,
too.
I guess.
But I mean, I think there'd be a lot of people that might be there that don't live there. Like we have a lot of our subscribers that actually own houses there that they never live there, but except for during the rally. And they might come out off and on at different times of the year, but I wouldn't think they'd be registered to vote there. But you never know.
So Andrew says, absolutely, we do the fish fry, hoping we can get you guys to come out the weekend before for it. Okay, if you guys are going to be out there the weekend before, we could probably do that one.
Yes.
That would
Let
probably
us
be
know
easier.
when we get there.
Yes. Text me
You have
and
to tell
make
us.
sure.
Oh,
He's got our text. Billy's on Billy and Sandy, crap on a cracker, and Mrs. Crap on a cracker. He said they stay at the Hidden Valley behind the steel wheel. I thought they always
didn't
stayed
think
at the
you
steel wheel. I knew they stayed back there, but I just always assumed it was steel wheel they stayed at.
yeah, there's a couple campgrounds right there.
Devin said he believes so that she was there, I guess.
Okay.
So
I watched some
Anyway.
of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Kind of bored. Well, they didn't ask. I don't know. It
let's
wasn't.
not talk politics.
It should have been more like a debate, and they could have. And it just wasn't. I don't know. It was just very. Well, somebody else wrote that on there too. There was very generic questions that really didn't give them any hard facts. And because that's like I'd say, what are you going to do? Because people can say they're going to do everything and make everything hunky dory and everything's going to smell like roses, but I ran a union for 3 years, full-time job, and it's a lot of things you can't do because it's like, I don't know, but it's not everything can be done that you think you can do because one, you're only the mayor. You still got the whole city council that has to vote on things. The mayor actually doesn't get to vote at all unless it's high.
Steven said Murder Beach has a MC or EM. What's EM? I said it was MC. It's EM. I don't know what that means.
To get Steven on, he could talk about Black Bike Week, Atlanta Bike Week.
Oh, how did that go?
Well, they had that. It was supposed to be a stampede, and they made this big thing about it. And then the town of Atlanta, which is only, what is it,
4
2
blocks
blocks,
long.
2 blocks by 2 blocks by 2 blocks. And so to go back, why do we have? It's not really Black Bike Week, but it is
It's called Atlanta Bike
yeah.
Week.
So what happened is back in the day, white people would not allow black people to swim at the beach with them. So they had this little area that was 2 blocks by 2 blocks or 4 blocks by 4 blocks, whatever it is, and they called it Atlantic. And that's where they had their own city council, their own mayor, their own thing. That's where they were allowed to swim and do all that. So that's when they came out with, they haven't had, Atlantic Bike Week has not been going on as long as I want to say Murder Beach. Myrtle Beach. Why do we call it Murder Beach? Because somebody gets killed every week down at.
Steven says every day.
No, I didn't want to say that. Right down there where you stay on Beach Row, whatever that's called. But so that's when they have it all down there. But I guess they go on that main street, which we rode by there the other day before we left. We went up that main street. Never been on that street. There's like 3 or 4 bars there, things like that. And so people were kind of saying, we're not even anywhere near that. That is way past.
I don't know why they couldn't have it at the same time. Barefoot Landing.
Barefoot Landing. Way past Barefoot Landing. So it's way up there north.
So if they really wanted to, they could have it at the same time because they're
well,
really
I'm not sure if they would give them permits for it to go on at the same time because the police and that kind of stuff like that. And so
Kendra's on.
Kendra. So they had it. So it's supposed to be in front of one of the bars. They called it a stampede. So I guess some kids started fighting. Cops showed up and everybody started running. And some people got trampled. Well, then the city of Atlantic talked it down and said, oh, it was nothing. It was just a little scuffle, a couple of kids, no big deal. Well, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to be there for it. But if any of you were there, let us know how you thought about it.
It was as bad as it said, or was it much of nothing?
Well, which it is. We did do Daytona Black Bike Weekend, which is, what's the college called?
Bethune. Beueth.
Probably pronouncing it wrong. But they got a black college there. And it was pretty good.
Bethune.
I was very, 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 very impressed with going there. We kind of talked about the story before, but we went down there on Saturday because Detroit Randy. We know him, and he's always has a bike show there, and he's been talking to us for years, like, you ought to come down, you ought to come down. And finally, we've seen him that Wednesday before, and it's like, let's put it on the schedule. Let's go down there and check it out. Can't be that bad. So we get there, and of course, we're one of about 8 white people there, and which is not a problem. So we parked the bike, backed it in, walked up, did the bike show, filmed it all. Everything turned out really good. Didn't film anything at that point, but on the way back, I decided, I'm going to turn the camera on and see what happens, see if anybody says anything. Actually, I got a lot of people that are our subscribers that were there that thanked us for being there. I talked to a couple of police officers that was there. It was really so laid back. It was like a 180 compared to downtown Daytona, down to there on Main Street. I don't know, that Main Street? Is that what it's called down there, Daytona?
Main Street? Yeah.
So it's totally different. One, you don't have any of the tourists that are standing around down there hogging up the sidewalk. Their parking was, they had bikes on one side, the other side. They weren't parking on the sidewalk, so it was easy to walk up and down. We seen little kids there, and we seen people probably 100 years old. People brought their lawn chairs, watching the bikes that were going up. You didn't hear anybody rapping their bike out. You didn't hear anybody had their stereo so freaking loud that you heard them like a block away. It was just really
It
chill.
was a very relaxed atmosphere. Everybody was just there to have a good time. People had it was almost like they were waiting for a parade or waiting for somebody to come in. They had their chairs alongside the road. They were all just sitting there. They had their little drinks, whatever they were drinking. And it was, I mean, from 3-year-olds all the way up to 99-year-olds were just sitting there having a good time.
So if we go back in December or in next year in March, which we're still getting up, we won't know that until
They call it Midtown too.
Yeah.
Because they must do something during Biketoberfest because remember he kept telling us do Midtown.
Yeah, but I mean, we went by there and we never see nothing going on. So anybody from Daytona, let us know if they do it during Biketoberfest. We had rode through there to see Biketoberfest isn't a whole week, only the 4 days during Biketoberfest versus Bike Week. So I don't know. Because the one during Bike Week is only Friday and Saturday. I don't know if they're doing anything on Sunday or not, but it's mainly Friday and Saturday, and that's it. So it's not a lot going on. But this year, Harley Davidson had stepped up. They gave them a real fancy stage where a few years ago we drove through, and it was like it was made out of 2x4s, plywood. They also had some not demo bikes, but they had a couple trikes there, like 25 and a 26, and they had the backs taken off, showing them the difference. They had kind of a display there. Typically, most of the people down there, the vendors, was like people selling T-shirts. Because who was that just died?
Jackson?
Yeah. Jesse Jackson must have just died the week or two before. And so there was a lot of places that had the T-shirts with Jesse Jackson on it and stuff. A lot of that. There was a lot of some food booths and stuff there. They had some restaurants that were already regular down there anyway.
That were open.
Had some soul food down there. We didn't eat or we didn't do anything else down there. We just kind of checked it out. But it was really cool atmosphere. Harley had some corporate execs there that we knew. We didn't. CEO had already left because that was the same day that they were having the bagger race going on. So he went over to the bagger race. And then they had, Adam Sandoval was down there. Jesse Dupree was down there. I guess it wasn't Adam Sandoval. I don't know.
Somebody
Jesse was
said
there.
he was there.
Yeah,
But
Jesse
we
was
saw
there.
Jesse and we saw Matt and we saw Randy and else. There was, I don't know, 4 or 5 people we saw that we weren't expecting. So we got to talk to Detroit Randy and get him on camera. So if you go back and check that video out, you'll be able to see all the people we saw. I think
Man, that's
Jesse
pretty
said
cool.
something too, but
Yeah.
could you hear him?
No, I couldn't. Because DJ was.
The music, that's the only, if I had to say one bad thing, music was extremely loud right in front of the stage. But you could kind of hear it up and down the street. But yeah, it was loud in front of the stage.
So I would recommend going to that next year. And I had a lot of people wrote me, which I'm assuming were our subscribers, that thanked me for being there. That actually said we were the first white YouTuber that's probably ever filmed down there. They could ever recall. The one that goes down there all the time is
Traveling Tall.
Yeah, Traveling Tall, I guess, covers it all the time, which I don't follow him on a regular basis, so I don't know what he does. So, but I know who he is. But I
Yes. Not responding.
had it all set up, and he said he wanted to come on, and not here. So pretty exciting. So I don't know how many people's thinking about going to Sturgis this year. It's never too late to plan. I thought it was going to be super, super crowded, but it seemed like we had a really big spurt of people like in January and February that kind of booked, but it just seems like it's kind of mellowed back now. So if you've been thinking about going and you're not sure, get on the phone, do some phone calls. You can probably find some things. Most of the bands have been announced. I thought we was going to get Kid Rock at full Buffalo Chip. I was told the other day he is not coming. So I don't know what happened with that. Jelly Roll was the other one we thought was going to come for sure. But Jelly Roll's been doing so much other stuff now that he's been really hard to get him to sign up for concerts. The Full Throttle Saloon still needs to replace Journey. A lot of people were trying to say it was him that canceled, but it wasn't their fault. It's Journey's fault. For some reason, that guy that's the lead singer did not want to sing in August. I don't know if he's got some kind of commitments. He didn't want to do it all this year. So I just seen the piano player that they have, organist, whatever he is this is it. After this year, he's out. So a lot of bands are like that, where they're all getting older, harder to get out, get on. I thought it'd be kind of cool to see Journey maybe one last time before they fold up. Uh, I was always a Steve Perry. I kind of liked him better. That's kind of what we grew up with, his songs and stuff. So we're more of a Steve Perry fan, but he can't sing anymore. He doesn't have that high tone no more like he used to have. He had a deeper tone. You didn't see the link I sent him?
Oh, he'll be on soon.
So a lot of excitement going on. Might can come up with some videos before we leave. I want to get my motorcycle out and ride a little bit. I might go over here to Oatman in the next couple of days and get a shot of that. We got a road out here. It's called the Sidewinder. I haven't done that probably in about 3 years. We used to do it every year because I'm out here for the Laughlin River Run. And it's a great ride. It's kind of a little bit of challenging, but we are starting to heat up today. We got to about 102 today. Next couple of days that's going to be the peak. So probably if I do it, we'll probably go out and do it a little earlier in the morning. Go out and do something with that. We got a video coming out tomorrow, but it's on the Cars, Trucks, and Tools channel. My daughter, I don't know if any of you have an electric car. If you have an electric car and it's not a Tesla, for instance, and you're like, I don't understand why I can't go to Tesla. They got these stupid plugs that won't plug into my car. They make an adapter. So we got an adapter for my daughter's car, and we got a little video coming out tomorrow showing you, and we get you a 20% discount if you're interested. But you got to go over to Bob and Tam's Cars, Trucks, and Tools channel. Check that video out. It'll be out tomorrow at our normal time. So I probably won't have a video tomorrow coming out here. I don't know what I got for the rest of the week. I have not even thought about it. Trailer's pretty much ready to go. She just got to finish loading up a few things on that because we already just came back from Las Vegas. We took the trailer over there. I never did tell you about my diesel problems. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Turbo issues I had. We almost didn't make it to Arizona Bike Week.
Cut it along. We finally got there. Steven said Atlantic Bike Week was a nightmare, trashed the whole area.
Usually hear
That's
that.
from somebody that lives.
That's right. I have to believe Steven.
Yep.
And church is pretty close, get down there close to the river, the ocean. So yeah, not too bad. This year, it's just there's so many YouTubers that are out here at the rally that I think we're getting lost in the shuffle. Daytona this year, we actually did a little better. Leesburg and Panama City, the viewership was way down. Myrtle Beach was way down. It's
That's
not.
usually one of our better rallies.
Yeah, I was very, 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 very shocked. We had one video did really good. I got a video that got like 4. The rest of them, none of them ever really took off. I had a lot of people come up and thank us and say, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate what you do. But the problem is what we do is we only show you what, if you're new or if you're looking for things to do, and not everybody finds us. And that kind of is what's going on. Next year, we're not sure all the rallies we're going to be doing. We're talking about it still today, about doing a ride in May. If you want to kind of pencil May off, we don't have an exact week yet that we're going to plan it, but definitely it will either be between the first and the third weekend. That would really be between the first and the second weekend we'd leave, because back on the third week. That we're going to do the coast of California. And what we do on the rides is different from what everybody else does. Is we take you on a ride, we're going to show you great places that we're going to stop, we're going to check out, we're going to explore, we're going to do stuff. Some stuff might cost to see, some stuff may not cost to see. We don't charge you for doing this. This isn't something that we're going to charge you. You know, it's a $5,000 deal to come ride with us. But what you have to pay for is your own hotel. You have to pay for any of your food and all the stuff. All your normal expenses you would pay for, you cover. Us giving you the free guided tour and showing you all these great things is on us. But it's on the content that I make too. The whole trip will be filmed.
We'll be filming.
Yes. So I think what will end up happening is we'll start getting people that are very interested in rides and see this, because there's not really anybody, which is 7 years ago, there really wasn't anybody covering motorcycle rallies like we do. Now we got 20 or 30 guys at every rally now showing what we do. You know, they're not going around necessarily doing exactly what I'm doing, but they're flooding it so much with, you know, the craziness, or standing on Main Street in Daytona and filming it every single day and putting that back up. And it's just, I'm getting lost in that shuffle. So we're going to reshuffle and try to figure out what we can do different. Maybe not so many rallies. Maybe we'll do more of rides. Maybe Maybe we'll do more rides than just that one. But a lot of the stuff we'll be doing rides will be more on this side of the country because we're already here in Arizona. So for us to go to Florida and do a ride or go over to, which it is, it's on my bucket list to do North Carolina.
We want to do Maggie Valley. We want to do Tail of the Dragon. We want to do the Blue Ridge Terrace, Blue Ridge,
Whatever it's
whatever
called.
that's up.
Highway. But getting there and doing it all, I don't know if that'll ever happen. It's on the list, but there's no guarantee that it'll ever happen. But there's some other ones. There's some in Utah. We'd like to do Arches Park. I'd like to do a Route 66 deal. But same thing, do a Route 66, which I would never go any farther than St. Louis, because from St. Louis, Chicago, there really isn't anything there unless you're going to go through Springfield and see Lincoln's tomb or something like that, or Lincoln's home and stuff like that. There's really not a whole lot of Route 66 stuff to see in Illinois anymore. Most of that is just gone, which is sad, but that's the way it is. The biggest thing here is California, Arizona, and New Mexico is probably the 3 biggest states that's going to have the most stuff that you can still see that's Route 66
Oklahoma's
stuff.
got a lot of stuff in Texas. So
And Texas, you're only on a hairball of it.
Well.
It's the top there. You're not getting very much. But most of the things you see
trying to
is
go
like,
through Texas. That's the part I want to go through. I hate driving through Texas.
but you've got, there's all kinds of stuff. You just got to do your homework and stuff like that. There's a lot of vintage. We just talked to somebody on route. Oh, I just talked to a guy who was over here over by Needles. He was on Route 66, and I asked him what he's been seeing. And he says most of the he's been seeing is the vintage cars coming. He's not seeing a whole lot of touristy stuff. Like I seen an old roadster was pulling a little camping trailer, and that's what made me start talking to the guy about it. And he was telling me some of the stuff. And his building actually had been there since 1920. Not him, but the building was there. It looked like it inside too. But he says people stop and take pictures and stuff of the old. But I mean, Route 66, which is sad. We have a friend that lives in California. He's done so much of Route 66 over the last, I don't know, 30 years. And he's got pictures. He's made books and everything up of it. And there's so much of the stuff that he's filmed is gone. We had a great one in Missouri, right across the street from Six Flags, where Six Flags is at. There used to be a hotel there that had garages. And all these famous people would go there to cheat on their wives and stuff in there because you could park their cars in the garage.
Hotel that had a garage.
Yeah.
So
no, each room had its own garage.
Yes. So when you parked in there, your car wasn't just parked out in the parking lot. When you got your room, you got your little garage. And
you closed your garage, nobody knew you were there.
Nobody saw your car there.
It ended up, I don't know why they tore it down. When we used to live in Missouri, the building was still there, but I never really paid attention to it till after they tore it down. And so there's just some of that in Missouri is not too bad. Some of the Route 66 along like
40.
I guess that's going up. That's going up to St. Because it's after St. Louis. Because I don't even know where going across St. Louis. I don't even know where 66 goes.
I think it goes to 64. 64. I don't know if it goes into 5 all the way up to Chicago.
But like I say, we used to live there, and ain't nothing in Illinois to see. Like I say, unless you want to see.
It's pretty flat. You think Florida's fat? It's pretty flat.
Well, it's like Wyoming.
Nicole's on. Hey, Nicole, how are you doing? Nicole, this is Thackeray. So there's a few more people. Neil says, have you heard from Roland lately? Yes, he was on the last time we were on a live. Was that in Vegas? He was on.
Yeah, but he said he's not coming this year. He's still waiting. He's got some kind of settlement that's supposed to be going through the courts or something, and he's waiting on that. And once he gets that, then he'll come to Sturgis. Because it is, for somebody to come from a foreign country, out of the States, to come here, it can be very expensive. Because a lot of times, that's like he was finding out, you don't have a motorcycle license from that country, you can't ride a motorcycle in the United States. Doesn't make any sense. Because how the heck do I know how well you ride a motorcycle? How strict they are even in, they might be riding scooters over there, giving license to guys or girls. But that's a rule. You don't have a current license in your country, you can't come here and drive a motorcycle.
Cole and Andrew aren't coming to Sturgis. I think that's probably the first time in how many years has it been?
Can't believe that.
Yeah, they're pretty close. I think they live in Minnesota, so they're not too far away. Dave, UX, 4764. It says they're still working out the details for Sturgis this year. Hope we can catch up with you guys for a ride. So do you have our information? Not, I don't know if I can do all that.
Probably not.
BobandTams@yahoo.com. Email me your real name and your phone number, and I will text you back our phone number.
And those that are going to Sturgis, you need to email us, because what we're going to do is try to do different stuff every day during the rally. Some of the rides will still be going on. Of course, we're going to be going to get some of the world's best fried chicken in the world. So you can go along on that ride there. We try to always do different rides, not the same path all the time. Of course, we'll be doing the 385 when we get there, and we'll be showing that off and on what their construction. But I just talked to a guy the other day that said he rode the 385, and he said, I didn't even notice it. The road was packed down. But some people do not like to ride on anything that's not asphalt or concrete. But you can always go around it.
It says Andrew's been going 11 years and she's been going 9 since they've been married. So yeah, it'll be, we'll miss you this year. Sometimes we don't always get to meet up with you, but yeah, we generally see you somewhere. They're out eating somewhere or something. So, well, that's cool, because I know got lots of stuff going on and lots of life gets in the way. Your grandkids and Charlie's really getting big. So lots of stuff probably going on. Say something else. Oh, Blue Ridge Parkway was that other. Somebody else said they thought I was talking about. That's the other road we'd like to do.
So
I think that's between North Carolina.
I think it's real close when you come to the tail of the dragon. I think.
Yeah, I think when you either finish it or whichever way you're going, it's the end of it.
So I don't know. Don't know what'll happen. We kind of started looking at some of this stuff, because that's the thing with the price of gas right now. Trying to look at some of this, like we were thinking about doing that Branson thing, and I think I ended up figuring out one way would cost us about $1,600 in gas for 9 miles to get there. Heck, it was only like driving to Florida. It's like 1,800 miles to go to Branson. I was like, holy crap! It might be that far to get from here to there. I'm like, hell, it's only 2,000 miles to get to Florida. I don't know. But,
I don't know.
So that we don't know. Unless gas is really cheap. And it's very possible. You never know what's going to happen. Here, we're a little higher. We're not as high as California. Right down the road here through Needles, it was $7 for unleaded and $8 for diesel. But they're probably the highest, other than unless you're in Malibu or someplace like that in California. They're always the highest, because I guess they think, because you've been traveling down, because, well, they're probably the higher place would be Goof down there. They're the place you got to pay $10 for a bottle of water to use their bathroom.
You have to buy something in order to use the restroom. And the cheapest thing they got is a $10 bottle of water.
It used to be $5 about 10 years, 20 years ago.
Dave says, yes, we have info from last year. Thanks. Okay. So yeah, just let us know when you're going to get there. Just text me, and then I'll put it in my notes. And then we're going to text people, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. I'll text you the night before. And if you want to, or you're able, then more than happy. Mexican Biker says, you and Pipes have been healing up better lately than last year. It was a bummer for you. I know. They were in a bad motorcycle accident. So she says they're all good now.
And it's always big. You always got to be cautious, no matter where you're riding. And it's just like we were in Vegas there, trying to ride like down the strip and down some of the side roads and stuff. It was like we were the only motorcycle probably within a 10-mile strip. And it was very dangerous, because nobody's paying attention. So definitely in these cities is really getting tough for motorcycles. Like I say, we used to split lanes in California, and I'm not sure if I could still do that anymore.
So it's a little
people just don't.
nerve-wracking.
Well, nowadays with everybody with phones and everything else that's going on, people are so distracted. They're not paying attention. And then I think
enough in a car.
I think a lot of it is we're old enough to know that we had driver's ed in school, and there's so many people now. Just like we were just talking the other day, we have a grandson. He's 16, 17 now.
He'll be 17 in August.
And we'll talk about his driving. And I was like, we were just going through some of the things. Do you know that when you get off, when you're coming down an entrance ramp, you get on the highway, but at the time you get to that end of that entrance ramp, you're supposed to be already doing the speed limit that the highway is predicted at. If it's 65, you should be doing 65 by the time you get there, not 45 or whatever.
The thing in California, they have a stoplight at the end. You got to stop. And then, okay, now you can go. So how are you going to get to 65 miles an hour within 100 feet?
That's because they don't know how to run.
That's when we first moved out there. We were like, how can you?
But normally any other place other than that. But it's like, but I mean, sometimes it's like I've seen a couple places we've been getting off the highway. Actually, there's a traffic light there, but really you don't have to stop because they got their own lane there. And that's what my grandson said. One of the exits he gets off in California is everybody stops at that light, and it's not but it should be a yield sign there, not that light. So it is kind of confusing if you're somebody that's not from the area and you're trying to get off the highway and you see. But I also do that because we've got South Dakota plates on most of the vehicles we drive. So when I can do some of that, because in California you make a U-turn anywhere. There's probably not a road you can't make a U-turn on. Well, 90% of the rest of the roads in the United States you can't make U-turns on.
That's
But
what happened.
I always say I'm not from here.
Bob always said when trikes first came out, because we were living in California, and he's like, "Why would anybody buy a trike? Because you can't split lanes. That would be such a stupid move to buy a trike." Well, nowhere else in the United States can you split
Well, you
lanes.
can.
Well, now you can, but back then when trikes first came out, California was the only place you could split lanes. So it was.
I don't know what other
It was
states.
fine.
Arizona's gotten now at stoplights and traffic lights. Once the traffic is stopped, you can split lanes up to the front. So that happened January 1st. We seen a bike the other day, but we weren't stopped yet. And he was already rolling through before.
Did you sell your bike, XM Biker? Said he can't split lanes anymore now because he's got a trike. But he lives in Illinois. Probably couldn't split lanes anyway, could you?
He's out there in Polk
Well,
country.
he lives down by Carbondale.
Mhm.
Not Carbondale, Carlisle. Bob and Tam, did you watch the last video I sent you? Probably not.
Yes, that is AI. It's about new laws. But Neil, the giveaway on that lady was when she stopped talking, her hand was still talking. And I didn't watch the whole. I started watching it, and I already started seeing it was AI. And then I started seeing some of the comments down below, and I thought, it is. And I wrote on there that some of the things they were saying was not legally true. They were just trying to tell you some of the laws that you need to abide by. And every state does have different laws. That's one of the reasons we try to talk to the police departments when we come, because typically most states, it's like, for instance, California. California, a rolling stop, you can get away with in most situations because that's always been known to be they used to call it a California stop. Younger cops probably wouldn't accept it, but the older ones, that was always something you had. If you were in a neighborhood cutting through or whatever, you didn't have to physically stop. You could roll if it was clear, go. But you can't do that in a lot of other states. Same thing with a lot of guys. I always say guys, but it could be women too, that don't have motorcycle license. Years ago, you go back into the 40s, 50s, 60s, there's a lot of states that never required a motorcycle license. You just rode it. Now, ever since I've been driving, which would be 76, 74, I didn't have a license. But I rode.
Road?
Well, yeah, I rode on the road, but I mean, I'm talking about needing a license.
Oh,
But in Illinois, as of from 76 on, and probably before that, you always had to have a motorcycle endorsement on your license. So there could be variable states that didn't have that. So that's one of the things, like especially in Florida, one of the big tickets that they write is a lot of older gentlemen, when they pull them over, they don't have a motorcycle license. So if you're going to a motorcycle rally, you should really make sure you have a motorcycle license.
Or if you decide you want to rent a bike.
You could, in some states, you'd have to check the state you go to, because which always is weird because they'll give you a permit for a year. Nobody rides with you on a permit. You just can't ride at night or what, depending on the state. I don't know if a permit would be good. I'll have to ask that question this year when we talk to the chief. Well, is a permit from another state? Could I ride it in South Dakota? Would that be legal? That way you could at least go down. All you have to do is take a written test to get your permit. But you take a rider edge course, you could get your license too, or any kind of training like that. You don't have to go take the DMV test, just the written. So which is kind of a nice thing versus like me. Well, in Illinois, we had two different licenses. If your bike was under 200 cc's or something, you could be 16, but you couldn't ride over a 200 cc till you were 18 years old. But you had to take another rider test for that. So it was kind of weird. So I ended up taking two tests in my life of riding motorcycle. I had a little bike first, and then probably when I turned. So because I probably rode somebody else. So that's some of the things to think about. There is all the laws change in different states. You also should look at your medical card. I know Neil was talking about that, I think, once before when he had some issues when he was there last year. That you need to look at that because you might have a plan like what we used to have where I worked at. They had a plan that was for California only. You had to go to your PP doctors and that was it. But they would our thing did the one insurance that I had, they would pay out of network. And then they also had our daughter, for instance, they had Kaiser, which is real big in California. They would pay out, but they're a little harder to get the money out of them. So sometimes you always want to kind of check that before you leave home. If you've got medical, if you're older and you're on Medicare or something like that, you're probably not going to have any issues anywhere you go. But
And Texas is fun.
something to think about. But that was what this video that Neil was talking about, he had sent me and had me said that I should look at it and maybe talk about it. And that's what it was kind of about, how laws are different in different states and things could affect you. And which it is. There's all different kinds of laws in all different kinds of states. There's some law, I don't know if it was Illinois, Missouri, but you could get arrested for spitting on the sidewalk. But it was
That's how
written
they
back
caught
in
Al Capone.
1920. And so there's a lot of laws on, just like in Florida, there is a noise ordinance that they're using for stereos, which was written back in the 50s. So sometimes there's a lot of laws out there that you don't know about that could affect you. That's why you should just, don't have a flip up plate on your motorcycle. Make sure that you can see your plate from where you're at. Make sure all your lights are working. Don't be drunk. Don't be stupid doing stupid stuff in front of the cops. If you want to be on some back road and you want to do a wheelie or something like that, nobody's around. But see, you want to show off. I want everybody to see me. But
XM Biker said, when Illinois with a permit, you have to be riding with the person who does have a motorcycle endorsement in the same group.
So yeah, different ones, different states. A lot of the states you don't have to, because it is, if that would be tough, because if you end up saying, well, I don't have anybody, nowadays, especially, you had some 16-year-old kid wants to go get a motorcycle license.
Unless their dad rides, your uncle or something.
Yeah, who are you going to ride with? So yeah, that would be tough. With there, you're probably stuck with going to a motorcycle class where you get your license out of that. Where is that? Over 50. I don't know if we're going to have any more guests come on or not.
Sure.
All righty. So this is a friend of ours. His name's Eric. And if you guys been watching our channel, a couple years ago, he was in Daytona with us. We caught up with him. And he is new to the motorcycle community. How long have you been riding? When did you get your bike?
Harley for 6 years. I just started going to rallies here a couple years ago.
So he's starting to see a little bit of that. He's, you want to talk about your YouTube channel?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not Harley related or anything. It's just about travels, but we do travel around in a 40-foot bus and the trailer, the Harley. The Harley's kind of me and my fiance towed, but we like to go to Harley events and use it to go explore places where maybe a 40-foot RV won't fit and stuff like that. And Sturgis was the first time at the Buffalo Chip where we realized, I mean, we weren't really a trailer queen because we were living in the RV there and being able to keep everything. This is new for us, being able to follow some of the other motorcycle rallies. Looking forward.
So you're like one of the original. How many years you been doing YouTube?
YouTube 13 years.
A long time. So we picked him up, started watching him years ago before we started because we were looking to get into the RV. That's what we're going to start doing, traveling. He was kind of like a nomad. He's been on the road, hasn't really had a real permanent address. RV is a permanent address. Did you have a van to start out with?
I started in a van. Yeah.
Almost everybody seems to start in a van.
But I did have a COVID panic purchase of buying a house.
That's right. You
Yeah.
did have that one. That's right. You had that for a short time. And
I just remember one of the episodes because we're from St. Louis and we were watching you and you went through St. Louis and I think you had an electric bike at the time. And you were down there and we're like, oh, don't go there.
well, you said
it's sketchy.
what you did. You stayed like down there in down by the riverfront. And you parked trailer, and I'm like, oh my
McLeod's
gosh, he's not
McLeod's
gonna-
landing. It's like,
They might come
oh
out, and
my
the wheels
God.
will be gone. Like, have you ever watched that movie from Vacation with Chevy Chase and all them on there when they go through East St. Louis and the tires get the hubcaps get stolen off the car and all that? That actually happens. That's
Yes.
still going on. But that's more on the East St. Louis side. But
Yeah.
the St. Louis side's getting to be
Getting kind of sketchy.
Yeah. Exciting.
Oh, they want to know if his mic is on. Oh,
Say something.
Test.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
All right.
Neil said hi. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Neil.
Neil's from Alaska.
Awesome.
Living up
Are
there.
there any rallies in Alaska?
They do have a Harley dealer.
He's got a Harley up there. He
Okay.
does ride
Get
his
a
bike up
t-shirt.
in Alaska. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Eric needs an Alaskan t-shirt.
I do.
There you go. Yeah, bring that. He's going to go to Sturgis probably this year. He's looking at that maybe. And I have to
Very
bring him one from Alaska.
Yeah, cool. Fun.
Get down there, and we're still exploring the biker world. And now you got a newer bike. What'd you get?
I did. I traded in my Softail and I got a 2016 Street Glide. I always wanted a Street Glide, more of a bagger, so it has some locking saddlebags for the camera gear and extra rain gear and stuff like that. Put a sissy bar on it for my fiance Diana to travel with us and ride on the back, so she's getting used to it.
We could even get you a removable tour pack.
Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah, but the most exciting thing for me was just the stupid stock stereo and listening to music, be able to listen to some music. I didn't have that, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I made a big deal of nothing, but it's all about how comfortable and happy you are riding. So I
Yeah.
like it.
When I
Yours has got cruise and all that too.
It
doesn't
does, yeah.
It's
So when we,
nice.
when we our big shock was 'cause before we moved to California, my biggest bike was a 750 Honda that I had. And then it had no radio or nothing on it. And we didn't really go very far. It was chain driven and all that. I think we rode like 250 miles from Chicago. That was about as far as we ever rode on it. But that was about it. And so then we moved to California, I ended up buying this old Honda Interstate. I always wanted a Honda Interstate. That was the first bike that had a radio. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's music. You're no longer rattling things through your brain. And so then, yeah, once you get, which it is, my brother-in-law used to always call it, when I got my first, I got a ultra classic first. It didn't have the fairings or nothing, or the lowers on it. It just had the crash bar. It had the bags in the back bag and a fairing. And that's what he always said. It was a couch on wheels.
That's no motorcycle. That's a couch on wheels.
But I said, if you're traveling, if you're going to do any real distance, you want something bigger. And like I say, we met a guy a couple years ago in Sturgis that rode from South America on an 883 Sportster.
Oh, wow.
And I said, dude, I got to get you on the channel. I said, you're a legend just being able to do that. I said, I don't know how you did it. But I mean, there is people like that. It's just like the old choppers. We've had a friend one time that had a chopper and we were going to the Grand Canyon. And when we went to, he kept telling everybody, hey, you want to ride my chopper? He says, you can keep I'll haul your wife on the back of your bike. I said, all right. 50 miles, I couldn't get off it fast enough. There was no suspension on it. You hit every bump. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
All right.
Neil
But
says
you looked cool.
their next weekend is their hog rally. How to do?
Well,
How far it's gonna
just
stretch.
you could have left it right where it was at. Be able to. Funny.
Hey,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now. What's going on, guys? Good to see you.
We want to tell everybody who we got. So what we got on here is Marcus from Camp Easy Ride. He's the guy that's out there that has the compounds. He sets up at all different kind of locations which is probably the biggest thing that I recommend more than anything else is if you're somebody that's never been to a rally, male or female, this would be the best place to start out because you already get there and you have a whole ton of friends, events going on, stuff to where by the time the weekend's over, you're like, what happened? So,
All the camaraderie.
yeah. So tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
about what you got going on.
All right. Well, for those that don't know everything that we do, we basically set up everything you ever wish you could have at a bike rally. We bring out everything you cannot bring on your own bike. I believe Bob and Tam put out a little sneak peek of all our inventory crap laid out everywhere. That's all the stuff that we pack up for you guys. So that way you guys don't have to. So we bring out the hot tubs, the pools, the stripper pools, the fire pits, the camp games, pool table. We just added. I just bought another one for our other venue. We're constantly upgrading. That's a lot of news that's coming out as well. We're actually upgrading our tents to a different style that's not only roomier but cooler. That's the big thing. Especially like people want to get in there and they want to take a nap or just kind of relax, get away from the party for a minute. So these ones here have amazing flow through them. You can open, crack all the windows, and it feels like you're laying outside. You know, they give you immediate flow of air. So that's going to be coming for Biketoberfest. You'll see those coming out. Unfortunately, we don't have them. We won't have them in time for Sturgis, but you will be seeing those. So in any case, as in what we are doing, let's see, what are we doing? What month are we in? We are in June, going into June. So we got June Bug Boogie. That is actually our newest one that we've added. It's been on my radar for a couple of years now, and I've talked to a lot of people that's been to it. It's a small rally, but it's considered one of the biggest parties. Tennessee has great riding. You got the Tail of the Dragon, or is it the Tail Dragon? No. There's another big area over there. In any case, you got some really good riding a couple hours away. But the biggest thing about it is the party itself. The place itself just does an amazing party. From what I've understood is that most people check in and they don't leave the compound. They stay there on the venue. They just enjoy everything the venue offers, the party, the bands, the shenanigans, the adults stuff that goes on. So I am definitely looking forward to being part of that. And they have been more than welcoming to Camp Easy Ride. So of course, we're looking forward to joining that family. And then after that, we got, what do we got? We got the island party. For the last year's something called float or river party or something or another. It's a local springs here in Florida, which it was always one of my favorites, just because it was kind of more of a vacation than a rally. I mean, even though rallies definitely are vacations, this was more, everybody just floated down the river and we had cocktails. And one of my favorite parts that's in my memory of it is we bring out bags and bags and bags of marshmallows, and we'd have this huge marshmallow fight as we're basically floating down the river. So you just see thousands of marshmallows floating all around you. We throw them at the kids as we're passing by, and it was a blast. And then they changed the rules out there to where they went all family friendly, no drinking on the river whatsoever. So it kind of you can't actually leave the campsite. So it kind of deflated the fun out of floating down the river all day. So we decided to move it over to what's called Shell Key, which is a island over in St. Petersburg that you can get to on a ferry. That's a completely rustic island. We are going to be bringing out everything. I'm going to have a makeshift shower. We got to bring out our own wood. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work for a small production, but it's one of those things to where you get to say, I got to camp on an island. I got to wake up on the beach today and see the sunrise and see the sunset at night and so on and so forth. So we did one of these 3-4 years ago when I was kind of test sampling some things, and we had a blast. And I absolutely look forward to this one here, because I think it's going to be, I think it's definitely going to catch on. So other than that, we're gearing up for Sturgis. I looked actually just before you and I got online here, and we just surpassed 100 reservations. Last year we had 142. So I think we're gearing up to probably pass that, since we still have 71 days left to Sturgis. So it's a hell of a time, and it's definitely looking forward to. I mean, every year Sturgis is always the big bang that we're always looking forward to. So other than that, it's just been a lot of research and development, a lot of talking to out of the country for suppliers for all this new stuff that we're doing, planning new events. There's a few events that hasn't even been announced yet that I will be announcing soon. I just bought a bike. There's that. I just bought. Yeah, I'm back on 2 wheels. My bike unfortunately took a crap on me about 2 weeks ago, and one of our patrons reached out and says, "I have a bike for you. This thing, it screams you. It has this, all this crazy upgrades," and gave it to me for a ridiculously embarrassing low price that I felt bad even just giving him that, because it's that low, and he insisted. So now we're back on 2 wheels, and we're now part of the Black Harley Club. I've never had a Black Harley before, and wasn't really planning to, but this thing is pretty sweet. So other than that, what's that now?
You could always get it pinstriped.
You know what's funny is I talked to, I don't know if you know Scott. Now, you know Scott and Mary? Let's see, Mary the redhead. You've probably seen her out at
Okay.
Scooter Haven. Anyways, her guy, Scott, is an amazing pinstriper. And I ran into him at Scooter Haven actually this last weekend and showed him pictures of it. And he does. That's exactly what he wants to do is he wants to kind of highlight some of the chrome with some really deep red and kind of make it mesh into our, the Camp Easy Ride. So I'm kind of looking forward to handing the mic over to him, see what you can do with it. So, but other than that, it is one event after another. We actually get to take. Yeah, I'm a tired guy. We kind of get to take July off. We used to do Little Sturgis. I decided to step away from it just for some, at least take a break, just for some. I wasn't happy with the way certain things were being ran there, and my job, and I take it very, very serious. It's very personal. Is leading my people, all my patrons, into the right atmosphere of a good time and a safe time, and getting the best bang for their buck. And unfortunately, we had a bad experience with some personnel there last year, and unfortunately, I attempted to address it. Wasn't taken very well on their side, so I just kind of said, you know what, let's just agree to disagree, and we'll go our own separate ways. So, unfortunately, and I'm getting calls every day from people wanting to sign up for Little Sturgis with us, and unfortunately, I have to say we're not coming back, at least not now. So, with that said, we are either one, taking July off, which has never happened. We don't ever take anything off. I think the only time we take off is 2 weeks in December. Or two, the Buffalo Chip. If you guys, I don't know if you guys cover Jeep events as well, but the Buffalo Chip is hosting Jeep Freedom, which is the same folks that do Jeep Beach out there in Daytona. They reached out to us and they want us to do lodging for the overflow, basically for the Jeep Freedom at the Buffalo Chip for Sturgis, July 4th. So that is up in the air, working out. I'll have a yes answer for them in the next 2 days. So other than that, yeah, been back one event after and doing what we do. So yeah.
If you're out there, you could stay for
Other than that,
Jeep Freedom and then do Adventure Bike Week and then Sturgis, and you'd be out there and set up camp and just leave it. Maybe.
We were thinking about that. The only problem is that leaving the tents up for so long during that type of weather, and that weather is so unpredictable there, it would be so much work to maintain them when they're not being used. When there's not, I would basically have to babysit them the entire time in between, the 2 weeks between each one. So it is almost, we're either thinking about, I might do like all yurts, because the yurts are only held up by that one big center pole, basically, and then they're staked all the way down. So I was thinking maybe we can set up just yurts. That's all their only option is for the Jeep. And then when the Jeep Beach is over, or the Jeep Freedom is over, I just take that pole out and let the whole thing collapse, and then basically cover it up with like a big tarp or something like that, each one. So that way they don't get sunbaked and all that good stuff. Just because, again, having them up, all of a sudden you get an 80-mile wind that just picks one up and collapses it and breaks the pole. Then I got to fix it or buy new and all that good stuff. So that's all the stuff that we have to deal with in between, that you guys don't have to. That's part of the reason why you guys pay the big bucks. The people say, hey, I don't have to buy that. I don't have to worry about it. I just show up and I get to have a great time. And that's the whole purpose of Camp Easy Ride, of course, is to simply ride, party, drop, repeat, leave.
Right. That's your slogan.
Yep. And we'll see. I want to get through this weekend again. We had Scooter Haven. We had the West Coast Florida Riders. That's our local group that we ride with. It was their 8-year anniversary, so we decided to take a weekend off and actually enjoy things with them. Do a little bit of promoting, shaking babies, kissing some hands, and then right back to the grind, which is what we're doing now. We're actually heading down towards the Keys tomorrow to do some work on our Key West events, which of course is what, Winter in Paradise. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We changed that to be called Love in Paradise, because it's actually going to be over Valentine's Day now. So that is a Key West getaway. If anybody's wanting to get down to the islands, that is in February, obviously spanning over Valentine's Day. And then we're also going to be working on the Fantasy Fest. So that's during October, during the Halloween time. So those are Camp Easy Ride events. Those are not bike events. There's no rallies. It's just you are with bikers. You have your bike. It is a bike event in its own. It's not like a national rally or anything of the sort. It's just a vacation to get away for. So, but that's what's been going on. That's about it for me.
Sounds pretty good. And they can find you on, you got a website and you also have a Facebook page, same name. So pretty
For
easy to
Camp
track you
Easy
down.
Ride. Yeah, campeasyride.com, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that other good junk. Matter of fact, keep an eye on the website. The website is we have a brand new one that's been in development for the last 2 months that is very, very impressive. I've got some sneak peeks of what they've done, and this thing is going to blow away pretty much any ticketing system that you see out there, any resource system. It's gonna, we've basically kind of we've said, let them what like Cyclefish is, along with what Ticketmaster is, along with general directory of, Bikers Info USA. We've taken all the good parts of all these different resources out there, and we've collaborated it together into what our website is about to be, which again has taken 2 months and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to create, to make your rally experience even more better than it is. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know when that's officially launched. So
That sounds pretty exciting.
oh yeah, absolutely. Other than that, guys, I'd love to keep jabbering more, but it's been a long day on the bike. I am exhausted, and we're gonna grab a cocktail, relax, and definitely appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on, and they can track you down through the internet.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye now.
So there you go. We got an update from Marcus. We did a video the other day of his, just kind of showing him. He just kind of sent me a link. He had some bad internet, a little bit of bad internet there. You might have seen it breaking up
Break
a
up
little bit.
but
I probably should have switched back. I think I got it set at 1080. I probably should have shut it down to 720. It probably would have been a little better. We could shoot 4K, but here I got really good internet. But a lot of times like that, when you're using your phone and stuff like that, it's kind of, overall, it worked out really good. Most of the time, I think when he was breaking up, most of the time he was saying his name or not anything that was too overly important. So you kind of got the gist of everything that he had going on. He's got a couple new rallies that are going on there, that June Bug and a couple other ones that aren't on his website. That's why I was saying the other day I called him and talked to him a little bit about it, that some of the items weren't on his website. And
I guess that's why. 'Cause
yeah.
he must be updating it.
Yeah. So there's some events that are still on there. I think Kentucky was still on there and things like that. So if you see something you want, his phone number's all the way at the bottom. You can pull it all the way down. His phone number's there, or you can go through our stuff. His phone number's on there. It's the area code 727 down there. And you can call him and also talk to him on the phone. The Buffalo Chip one, you pretty much go through the Buffalo Chip to book that, because you got to get your wristband too and the tent and stuff. But you can also talk to them about it if you talk to Marcus. If you call his phone, that's what you're doing. You're calling his personal phone. If he doesn't answer, leave him a message and he'll call you back, or you can text him. So good ways to get a hold of him. Like I say, it's a really great experience. He's getting some different kinds of tent stuff now. He was talking about the one that they're bigger around, and it's more of a top where you can actually stand up in them. Those are getting a little
That
better.
looks like a little circus tent.
He's been talking about getting some that look more like a cabin and maybe even be air conditioned. Might be something future. That seems to be what most people complain about when you go to a rally, is you want a place you want to cool down. Normally Sturgis isn't 105 degrees, but you never know. So
It has been in the past.
but I tell most people, you're not going to be sleeping in your tent during the afternoon anyway. You're going to get up and go. And a lot of places, even if you bring your own tent, you still got that issue. But what's nice about his is, like when we used to go to the rally, even if we stayed in a cabin, we still had to bring our linens, our pillows, and all the stuff that you need. It's all that more crap that you're piling on your bike. where when you go to his place, he's got it all. He's got your little chairs to sit out front with. You've got a bed already set up. You got blankets, sheets. He's got
Pillows.
a charger there. You can charge your phone up. You just got to bring your cable to plug into it. You can keep your phone alive. It doesn't have anything where you can plug in a whole lot of stuff. If you got like a back machine,
Yeah.
you can talk to him. He can set something up if you have something like that. But you can't run an air
I think he
conditioner.
gives you a little fan, one of the fans you can set by the bed. And
It's all low voltage stuff. If you try to bring an air conditioner, most of the time he's running on generators in a lot of the campgrounds he's at because there's not any electric plugs right there where usually where tent camping's at. So you're kind of running off of 1 or 2 or 3 generators he's got. Where if somebody turns on like an air conditioner, it's gonna pull it all down because everybody else is running the little fans thing. But it's really cool. They've got usually they got a hot tub. Sometimes they have a cooling tub if it's going to be really hot out someplace. They got the dance pole. A lot of times they do food and stuff. They have Bloody Marys and all kinds of different stuff that kind of throws in.
mimosas.
And then sometimes they even go out and do events. A lot of times in Daytona, they've gone to the adult club down the road there. They get a bus and haul you down there if you want to check something out like that. So a lot of different things. Sometimes they go on a ride. But you meet, the cool thing about it is if you don't know very many people when you go to a rally, it's kind of like when we went. First time we went, it was just us 2. We didn't know anybody. We did run into some people that we knew after we got there, but we really didn't have anybody really to hang around with. To where that's kind of cool when you get to something like he's got his camp, you're automatically going to meet everybody because they got a common area where they got a bunch of couches and stuff all set up. And everybody's sitting around there and they're drinking coffee in the morning and drinks at night or whatever. And somebody bring a bottle in and they split it or they'll throw something on the grill and they'll cook it up for everybody. So it's kind of like a community thing to where you're going to meet a lot of people. We just heard something the other day that a guy and a girl ended up meeting there and they got married. And so, yeah, you never know what's going to happen and who you might meet.
Seems like a pretty good deal. It'll definitely lighten your load on the bike, having the stuff there, and then you don't got to worry about setting up everything and get right to drinking.
And it's like I say, a lot of times you leave because we stay after the rallies. You'd be surprised how many tents, easy ups, all kinds of stuff you see abandoned at these campgrounds because the people bought them. So
people ride their bikes in, and somehow or another they talk somebody into going to Walmart. They buy a tent, a sleeping bag, and
Too
a
many
pillow.
souvenirs.
Yeah, and then when they get ready to leave, they just leave it all there and leave.
So as I say, so by the time you pay for all that, you could have paid him. He's already set it all up for you. He's got everything set up. So the moment you get there, like, okay, I'm here. So other than you're sleeping in a tent, that's probably the only downfall of it. But I mean, a lot of people like tents, and a lot of people, his mattresses are up off the ground.
And they're on like a cot. And it's an air mattress, and then you got your pillows.
And it's got a little compressor with it, so if it runs down, you can adjust it and things like that. So it's. We stayed in this tent before. We stayed in Leesburg. We stayed a couple days in a tent to experience. She's not a big tent person, and but with all of her ailments and stuff, it makes it kind of tough. But it was a great time. It was a great people, and we always stop by their campground because they are one of our sponsors, and we appreciate that, getting us out here and helping us get going. We actually, us and them, started really at the same time. We both met 7 years ago at
Daytona Bike Week.
Yep.
I think it might have been Biketoberfest.
I think it was
the first
Biketoberfest.
rally we did.
And they had
And we
just
saw
started.
this whole tent encampment, and we're like, what is this all about? And he's like, I'm cleaning up. He was sweeping and stuff. He's like, come back in.
And he even had a deal set up to where sometimes he does this still today, but like if you were drunk and it's like you can come over there and they'd find you a tent for nearly nothing just so you didn't go out and visit yourself or somebody else.
Like,
And so
that's
that
a good
was
deal. Like, especially if you were at Sturgis, a lot of people come just for the concerts and then they're staying somewhere else. So he didn't really have a place to crash.
But that's
And-
only if he's got tents available.
Right.
So a lot of times he's all sold out and he doesn't have anything. But like we had Leesburg, it was sold out before we got there. Talked to him one day. Next day he had a tent come up. Somebody had canceled at the last minute. So they were going to try to re-rent it so they could give the guy back his money. I think they ended up doing it. But a lot of times like that, you don't. That's why I was saying before, you got a place you want to stay. You can always call them and say, hey, do you have anything available? You have any cabins or anything? And how big is your waiting list? There's 20 people on it. You're probably not going to get on it. But if it's like I said, it just said that Days Inn and Steel Pony had a cabin come up last week. I don't know if they're still available. Put it on social media. And so I just seen that. And I mentioned that. And
King Rider X said coming or not. I think he said he was talking about it maybe. He's not on. I don't know.
talks a lot about going, but
He
showed
does.
up. So pretty
One of these
exciting.
years.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, Buffalo's on.
He's a YouTuber.
He has tons of eggs left over in tents and bag.
And they're really funny because we went in there one year and we were getting something. One of them left a tarp or something. I was folding it up and going to use it. And the guy come running over, you can't take that stuff. We do all this. I said, well, you need to call Woody. And he already knows I'm out here. And so it was like, I don't know what the issue is, why, but I guess that's what was happening was some people were coming in and
Before people were actually gone.
yeah, and taking people's tents and they weren't gone yet. And that's the problem we've heard that a little bit at the Buffalo Chip. That's the only place I've heard it at, that there has been some ransacks of tents. People have come and stuff's been stolen out of your tent, stuff like that. So that's the only thing bad about a tent.
Can't really lock it up.
Yeah. So we're a little bit better here, like at Camp Easy, right? They've got their whole compound.
And there's usually always somebody
Yeah,
there.
there's
on the
always,
compound.
there's always going to be somebody. And so you're a little more secure there than you would be if your tent's over here with a bunch of people you don't know. But typically, I think the people that are actually stealing stuff is people that aren't really there for the bike rally, people coming in looking to steal stuff.
Got a question for Eric in Texas. Says, Eric, where are you going to next? What's your
Going to
plans?
next. I actually think I have an actual plan. I'm attempting to do Route 66 for the 100-year centennial. So it's been 100 years of it, and there's a lot of the 8 states that are involved in the Route 66 they're all doing something special for the 100-year, giving souvenirs, or you can buy the gold passport book, and then you can stop at certain locations and help support each state by buying the little puzzle piece stickers, magnets, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna attempt to go all the way from Santa Monica up to Chicago, Illinois, before Sturgis, and then I'll hopefully jet back and see you guys there. Worst thing.
You taking your motorcycle along on that
Yeah,
trip?
oh yeah, motorcycles coming, so we can some side trips and test runs.
Be nice and easy to get to places on the bike when you stop.
Oh, definitely. And there are also some parts of Route 66 that are inaccessible, so you're going to have to make some detours and get a little bit of gas mileage on the bike. I mean, it depends on how you ride it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, there's a lot of them. Like Adam the Woo, I used to watch him a lot.
Mhm.
And he'd go down a lot of those roads, especially like some of these roads, they're just dead end.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
And then they've got the one in California that's up along the ridge of the thing. You can only walk it.
Right.
And I always wanted to kind of go up there, but that's a pretty stretch.
And so if you're in a big diesel class A pusher, you're gonna have to add a little bit more gas because you're gonna be
Yeah.
making some U-turns and cutting back to the highway and then cutting back to the old school alignments and stuff like that. But yeah, we're very excited about this trip.
I was just talking to the guy I was talking a while ago about guy down here on Route 66. I said, one of the things that I've never really figured out, especially like older homes, like when I was in California, worked at the gas company. You go to these homes that were built back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and the garages are so small. But you think of those cars in the 40s and the 50s, how big they were. Then you think out here how skinny these roads are. She did it back in what year do you think you rode?
68. We
Yeah.
did Route 66
With
We
her
bounced.
parents, and she was a kid. They rode that and rode all the way from St. Louis to California. But I mean, you look at those little skinny roads, and really the cars today are a lot smaller than what we had back then. But it doesn't really make any sense how, I don't know.
Now we got these giant garages, cars.
Yeah.
And back then they had these great big cars in itty bitty garages.
And it's like, I don't
That's
know.
true.
That always, I never really thought about it until I started looking at it. And then, like I say, just out by where I'm at, we're not that far from Oatman. And we've got this road, it's called the Sidewinder. Well, it's got things on there. You're not supposed to take a truck down there or anything that's big or
Right.
semis or anything aren't allowed to do it on there. Well, how did they get down there when it was Route 66? They had
Yeah.
semis back then. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe nowadays, because I don't know. It doesn't.
Safety concerns.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe things have changed, but I mean, I see that different places where you go
The
that,
burros weren't out there,
well,
Mm.
birds have always been around.
but they weren't as domesticated as they are now.
Yeah. Too many people feeding them. You should not be feeding the burros to start with because the babies, you can kill them if you give them wrong kind of food and stuff like
And
carrots
if you
and
just
stuff.
walk down Main Street with a bag in your hand, if you're not watching, they'll just snap that bag right out of your hand, and because they want to see if you got some inside that bag.
Yeah.
Gotta watch that.
Yeah, there's It's always fun to go over there because we used to go all the time when we came to Laughlin River Road. We went every year. We'd always go to Altman, and we probably did that for, I don't know, 15 or 16 years in a row that we went to Altman and all that. And it's always funny to see the tourists that don't know nothing about wild animals. Kind of the same thing when you go to Custer State Park. People want to pet the bison.
Yeah.
You know, it's we got to remember that even the donkeys there are wild animals, and they live out in the desert. They don't live in town. They come in town to mooch. And they used to give these little squares you could buy.
Like alfalfa or something.
Yeah, and
squares.
they really didn't want that. They really wanted carrots and stuff like that. And sometimes I don't know if like I say, it's been a couple years since we've been out there. Because we used to go out there. Like I say we're only like 20 miles from, so we're really close to Altman. Right through the woods here, or through the desert here, we're probably only about 8 miles from it.
Yeah, if we had a side by side, we probably could get there in no time
You'll
flat.
see people that are used to it. They'll sit in the outdoor bar and just kind of watch the tourists and
Yeah.
eat some popcorn and okay, here's one. See
That's
ya.
their little show.
Yeah, and it's funny how they can always tell. Which I'm pretty good about a lot of that too. Now is long time ago, years ago, first time we ever went to California, we wanted to go to the clubs. You know, we wanted to go on the Sunset and go to the clubs. So we went to like a big fancy store in the mall, and I bought me some khaki pants and a button shirt, and she bought some clothes. As soon as we got up to the doorman, the first thing he said is, "You guys ain't from around here, are you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?"
We just went shopping. We should look just like all the locals.
No, we didn't. And so yeah, I guess that's how. But I do it in Florida too. When we're at the rally, I walk by and I'm like, you can tell these people are nowhere near. They're not from here, and which is always really funny. We just seen that in Vegas. That I would think in a foreign country, if I was in France or Italy or Germany or anything like that, and I would think that if I went through that crowd and started pushing people out of the way and stuff like that, or had my kids screaming in a restaurant, that it wouldn't be tolerable if you were a local that lived there. But I noticed when we were in Vegas, we had it several times guys would bump into. And they expected you to get, like, if you're already walking down an aisle and it's only wide enough for one person and they're getting ready to come down, they want you to back up. And I'm like, I don't think if they were in there, well, she actually was sitting next to some girls who were actually at the Chick-fil-A. And what did that girl say? Don't say what country.
That's what she said. We are from this country, at their nationality. She said, so we are here and we should be able to do whatever we want. She spoke very good English. So I'm assuming she was born and raised in the United States, but whatever country she came from, she was very opinionated about her rights as that nationality.
That she could do anything she wants in the United States and there's no downfall. So if she wanted to go in a store and steal a purse or something like that.
She didn't say that. She
But
just
that,
said,
but the way she insinuated, because why else would you say I can do anything in this country I want and no consequence?
almost like they were privileged because they were nationality, that they should get handed to what they wanted.
So I almost said, which other than California, you got to watch nowadays, like South Dakota. A long time ago when 2020 came around and they, Black Lives Matter and all this stuff was always talking about coming to the rallies and all this stuff. And we kind of just got it started. So she had called the city and talked to somebody in the city about, what kind of issues, what kind of security you're going to have, all the different things like that. And they basically told her that, honey, if you're not packing, the lady sitting next to you in the stand, she's got one. We'll take care of you. So it's like, you got to watch it now. And there's more and more, there's more states that you can carry a gun in than states that do not allow you to carry. And so you got to look at things like that because you might, just because
Cross the wrong person.
you're from another country and you think you got amnesty, doesn't mean that you might come across the wrong person and try to do something to the wrong person and bad things could happen to you too. So, it's just, I don't know if people think that America, maybe that's why we have so many foreigners coming in our country illegally and stuff like that, because they think you can do anything you want in this country. Well, you don't. Actually was watching a video a while ago that was the Charlie Kirk video that came up. And that's kind of what this kid was pretty much saying, because he was a foreigner and he says, I should be here. I should be able to do anything I want because it's the home of opportunity. And he said, well, where do you live? And he says, if some guy you don't even know comes in your house, decides to eat out of your refrigerator, what do you want to do? Well, and he goes, well, the guy can't do that. Well, you're just saying it came to the country. It's the same
You
thing.
can do whatever you
So
want.
it's like, which I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, it was just it was kind of like in the same situation where we were sitting and these girls thought because they came from a different country that and these girls were young. I would say maybe if they were in college age, they were 20 years old, be a miracle. They looked more like 16 to 20 maybe, and really young. And for 4 girls to
But
be
the older we
sitting
get,
there,
the younger they look.
but for 4 girls
Yeah.
sitting there thinking they're telling each other that we can do anything in this city that we want. Actually, it was down in Irvine is where we were at.
Hmm.
Probably out of the college, but the college is out now. So I don't know.
That kind of attitude and mentality will only get you so far before someone actually puts you in check. Dangerous part of it. So,
Different.
Like I said, they spoke very good English, so I don't think they were born in another country. I think they were born here in America, but I think their
Yeah, but then they
parents'
wouldn't have
nationality-
they wouldn't have amnesty.
Well,
They're
they
born
weren't
here.
saying amnesty. They were just acting like just because they were that was their name. My maiden name is French, so I could say since I'm French, I can do whatever I want. I wasn't born in France. I was born here, but
But you would have.
that's the way I took it.
But then they misspoke in the first place because you're an American, you have to go by American laws. Even if you're a foreigner, you still got to go by American laws. But if you broke the law, they may not be able to imprison you. They may ship your butt back. But that's what's wrong with all this. Because same thing, if you did something in this country and you broke the law, I don't care if you're illegal, you've got a green card or whatever it is, you should still pay the
Or if you're here
price.
from another country,
You
still-
should pay the
you come over
price.
here and killed somebody, you should go to jail.
Because if you go down to Mexico and you do something wrong, they're going to lock you up.
You may not ever be seen again.
That's right. And a lot of these other countries are the same way. And I don't know why here we're so lenient on that. Maybe the laws wouldn't be crazy as they are, or how some of these people get away with.
That's what they said a long time ago. I guess when my kids were growing up, so many kids got killed by drunk drivers. That's why MAD and DAD and all these different things came up. But they said, you don't ever see that in Europe. And it's like, do you know why? And I said, have any idea? People are more intelligent that they don't drink and get behind a wheel. And they're like, no, if you get behind a wheel, you're drunk and you kill somebody, it's automatic death penalty. And that's it. No questions asked, no trial, no nothing. It's just like, that's
life
it.
for a life.
So they
And-
know the consequences. We're here in America. Oh, there's loopholes and there's this and there's that. And, and so many people get away with so much stuff. And I think that's the biggest problem in America. There's no consequence for your action.
It's sad. It's just like, what did I see? Oh, in Las Vegas last night, some young girl stabbed 3 horses that were in a competition for it. And it's probably and of course they've arrested her. Got to go to juvie hall now, which she probably won't do any time. But I'm back to the same thing. Her parents should be brought because she was raised wrong to know that if she's that bad of a loser, that she's afraid she's going to lose the competition. It was over there at
South Point,
yeah,
South Coast.
there last night.
It
And,
reminds
they
me
didn't
of
kill the
that.
horses,
Yeah.
but they hurt them bad enough that they couldn't compete.
Well,
And,
who was the girl back in the, was in our age? Hit the girl in the knee, the skaters, the ice skaters.
Tanya Harding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Harding and
I want to say Kim Kardashian, but that's
No.
not it. What's her name? I don't know. It started something like
Harding,
that. Well, Tanya Harding's the one that did it, but the girl that she did it to, I can't think of her name. But yeah. See, so she got all that fame. We remembered her name, but we don't remember the
That's
girl
funny.
she hit.
That's a good point.
See,
Yeah.
and that's why I think when things like this happen, I don't think they should broadcast that name because they're making that person famous and they're not.
Well, in this case, this girl's a minor, so of course the name's not out. Nobody's going to know. Eventually, it may come out. But at least that must have been some kind of video because they could see the girl coming in. Because I guess somebody reported that one horse had been stabbed, and then the police came and they found 2 more horses that got stabbed. And then that's when they didn't say
cameras
video,
everywhere.
but they
There's
ended up
always a camera.
they ended up saying that this girl went in and came back out. So then I guess they investigated her and then she got arrested. But it didn't say anything about her parents or anything else that they were there or whoever she was. It had something to do with it because they said she had the right to be in the stables. So they assumed that she probably had a horse. But that's what somebody else had wrote on there, that out of all the animals to hurt, a horse is something that a lot of people get relief from because they're so, yeah. And to do something like that to some kind of creature like that, got to be.
Anything like that, a dog or any kind of animal, because they're pretty much defenseless, especially if they were in a stall. They couldn't even run away from it, probably.
I'm gonna go unload the bike, guys.
All
Thanks
right.
for letting me be on the show for a
Alrighty,
little
All right.
we
bit.
appreciate it.
And thank you for letting me
And,
test out your digs here.
Yep.
and,
Bye-bye.
so that was Eric, and his channel was called Nomadic Fanatic.
Right.
And what he did is he done
You can see it from there.
he actually just got done doing a bus. Was your bus a school bus? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
And,
Thank you, Janice.
so he got a diesel school bus and had to do a lot of work, a lot more than he was expecting. Even right before he left, he had a mess to clean up.
Well, I've been praying that all the stuff he's had done to that bus now, it's gonna run perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're going to be heading back home. They just stopped by here this evening, stopped by over tonight, and they'll head back tomorrow. And they're going to somewhere in the near future, once they get everything all worked up and everything, they're going to be trip to down Route 6. And if everything else comes back, he'll hopefully be in Sturgis. His videos normally come out after everything's done. He'll show you stuff in a delay. He's got a pretty big channel. He's had some crazy people following him and stuff. There's even some people making fun of him on videos and stuff. And it's sad that YouTubers that have been doing this a while and they get bigger and bigger, you have this problem that, you know,
I think it's more jealousy than anything else.
and it's like, you know, it's everybody says what they want, and everybody's channel is what they want. And you either like the guy, the girl, or you don't. And if you don't
like them, don't watch them.
yeah, and there's a lot of people. I watch a couple videos and I'm like, I'm not interested in watching anymore. So I don't. It's not on my list anymore. But I mean, I wouldn't go and. But I mean, I see it all the time. It's like even on some pages. I was on what page I was on today, and a guy goes, "I don't like the way the administrator does this, and I'm going to go away. Goodbye, all of you." And I'm like, and everybody said the same thing. Why? Why are you even telling us? We don't know who you are. We don't care who you are. I'll be like somebody coming on the channel here and saying the same thing. Well, I'm Tam. I don't like you anymore. I don't like what you said. I'm going to leave. Well, we probably have a lot of people come and go. And unless you're somebody that we've really talked to a lot, we probably don't know who you are either. This is like here. We just rolled over 33,000 today for subscribers at 33,006 or something. So we probably will stay in 30,000. But once again, we've probably got what 50 people I seen on here a while ago. 40 now. It was about 50 a while ago. I got 40 people on here. So I don't know where the other 32,960 are at. But some people never make a comment at all. They watch it on TV, or they just don't want to be on social media, and that's fine. And we accept that. And we have a lot of you that come on a regular basis. On and let us know. You'll email us. You'll different stuff that's going on. So we do appreciate all that. That's one of the things that we enjoy doing this channel is the people that we meet is all time fun. That's what keeps me doing what we do. If it wasn't for that, I would have given this up a long time ago. It is nowhere ever been the money. We've never made any money on this channel to start with. We spent way more than we've earned. And so we do appreciate that people do watch. We do have some sponsors, a few. Like I say, I explained a while back, I kind of screwed up and messed up last year. At the year, we should have got people to pay, and I didn't even say nothing to a couple of them we've just had trouble getting connected with again. But we just picked up a couple new ones. We got the Greens Auto Body there that does body work, motorcycles. If you want to get your motorcycle custom painted, any kind of painting.
You can do cars too.
Yeah, but they got into motorcycles and stuff, and they do a really good thing. They became one of our sponsors.
Want your bike all customized and painted, all of that.
And they're out of Atlanta, Georgia. You can either take your bike apart and send the parts to them, or you can get your bike to them and they would customize it. And they're very, very reasonable price. Really good price, and they do really good work. So they're a new one that we picked up this year. Of course, we got Twisted Tea again. They're going ahead, and we got to get a contract to them in the next few days. We're also talking to Biketoberfest again. Basically, that pretty much Biketoberfest just kind of covers the expenses of getting there. And so that not really making any real money, because a 4-day rally, we ain't gonna make a lot of money. Lucky $500 or $600 to get out of that much. Because you just it isn't enough days. That's one of the reasons when people always say that. Why don't you do 3 or 4 day rallies? Why don't you come to our rally? In well, it's like Ohio Bike Week. I think it just ended. I think this weekend.
Probably
Yeah.
because Marcus does Ohio Bike Week, I think.
And so with that is it's only the 2 weekends, and there's nothing going on during the middle of the week. Well, one, how are we going to get there? We're not dragging the trailer anymore. If we were on the East Coast, it wouldn't be that big a deal to make another swing around up there. But once again, it's the price of gas right now is just crazy. And of course, we have diesel, so that's worse yet. So it's again about 9 miles a gallon. So you can take that and divide it by 9 to figure out what the price is and kind of tell you what it's going to cost us to get there. But we got to get back home too. So when you look at a lot of that, that's what we look at and go, it just isn't justified. Sturgis, we do so good because once again, we are there that whole time. So once we get there, we pretty much park the truck and we're going to be on the motorcycle pretty much probably 90% of the time. We're going to be riding a motorcycle unless it's raining, or if we have to go to the store, Walmart or something like that and get some supplies. Can only put about 1 or 2 jugs of tea in the bike, and in the truck we can put a few more and get extra supplies. So that's not a big deal. But sometimes we'll do that. We'll run over to Rapid City or something like that. So this year we're going to stay all in Sturgis the whole time. Where normally we do 2 weeks in Rapid and then 2 weeks the rest of the time in Sturgis. But this year we'll be totally in Sturgis the whole time. Base camp. We'll still be doing all the different things and all the different, because that's what ended up happening last year. We ended up spending more time in Sturgis those 2 weeks than we did in Rapid City. And we turned around when we were in
Every day
Sturgis.
they were predicting rain, so we kept driving the truck back and forth.
It never rained.
But that was a lot of extra gas money where we weren't really counting on that. So
you just gotta look and see, So yeah, but we're gonna see what's going on. We're looking to maybe start doing more riding and doing some more adventures like that. Not saying what else might happen. I mean, some of the different things I've been looking at. One is it just doesn't seem like it should be that far. Like to go to Tennessee. Once again, that's a lot of miles over there. Because I was even thinking about that next year. If I didn't do Myrtle Beach, maybe we could do Tennessee music revival that they have going on over there. But once again, that's a long truck over there for a 3 or 4 day rally again. Just isn't justifiable. So it just kind of makes it tough. We're not centrally located. We're more here on the West Coast, even though we're in Arizona. We're right on the Colorado River. So we got more stuff on this side to do than on that side. But the good thing here is you can ride a lot more year round versus what you have where you're in some other states. Can't get out there right on. So we'll see what happens, and no telling what might happen for next year. Because like I say, we talk about all the time, not doing something, not doing this rally, not doing that rally. You don't know if somebody, like we had somebody a couple years ago when we were saying we weren't going to do Myrtle Beach anymore.
Yeah.
And the guy says, "What's the campground going to cost you?" And we told him, and he says, "I'll send you a check. You'll have it tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay." So we
Mike
booked it.
Adams.
So we appreciated that, and it helped us out a lot. And
That's the Fire Stop one.
Yeah.
Calls Fire Stop Solution.
yeah, and they make, and so he's just
The
another
firewall
person that just
doors.
kind of helps us out. And it's like Emery HVAC. He's just somebody that used to help us get to Ocean City. The bad thing with Ocean City is now because we have to fly into
Baltimore.
you got to rent a car. So you got to fly down. So we got the car rental, we've got the airplane tickets. So there he gave us a motorcycle and gave us a place to stay, but then we got to go back. So the night going back, we have to have a hotel room there because you have to be by the airport to get out. So that just ended up being more than what we were going to make on the same thing on the video. But once again, we're there 3 or 4 days, you make $400 or $500. It's not enough, doesn't even break even on that event. And so that's our problem. And not anybody
Not
else's.
yours, no.
And but that's just kind of
But we just got to work everything out and the logistics of everything.
and it could be it's there's like one YouTuber right now that's done a bunch of crap wrong, and he's pretty much hasn't shown up at the last 3 rallies. He's pretty ghosted, but I think there's a lot of people looking for him because he's done a lot of crap. And it could get to the point where, because we still have a lot of footage. I have a lot of footage of all these rallies for the last 7 years. So we're probably still going to put stuff out, even if we're not at a rally, we're still going to put some videos out talking about that. So we'll still give you
We
a
could do
video.
some Zoom interviews too, even though we don't go. So we could do those videos prior to the event, still get you guys some good information, but still maybe do some rides and stuff too. So we can maybe have the best of both worlds for the next year, maybe see how that goes.
Because a lot of the things that go on are the same things that go on all the time. You know, which everybody says, well, what's Main Street going to look like? What's down there? Who's there? Where can I ride? Because typically, probably the majority of the people that we pick up every year is somebody new that's never been to the rally before. That, you know, I've never been to Daytona. I've never been to Leesburg. What do I expect? Where can I ride? Where can I eat? Well, the rides, the places to eat, downtown, stuff going on, it's all the same. The only thing that changes is the vendors might move around, might be new vendors, might be old vendors, might be no vendors, depending on what it is. Concerts are going to be,
Location.
the music's going to change. You know, they'll have different bands and stuff like that. But it's like we don't really report a lot on those bands anyway. We talk about, you know, we'll tell you where they're at. And if they got a headliner, you know, we tell you what they are. But other than that, we don't really cover bands because you can't copyrighted music.
Everybody says, "Oh, did you go see this band? And why didn't you put that band up?" Well, because we can't put them up because they play. It's copyrighted, so YouTube would ding us for that. So not any of that.
No, we always looking around for new things. We got something pretty exciting this year coming in for Sturgis too. They got a brand new Grand Marshal. He's actually the guy, if you remember 9/11, where they showed that red Harley Davidson with the fireman on it, with the full fire gear and all that on it, riding to it. He's coming to be the Grand Marshal for the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. And we're hoping we're going to try to meet up with him and talk to him a little bit about maybe a little bit of experience about 9/11. You know, because they kind of they sent me a little article on him. He was actually off. He was off duty. He had seen it all going on the news and all that stuff. And he figured he couldn't get a truck or his car down there. So he's like, you know, screw it. I'm going to jump on my Harley and I'm going down there. He put his fire gear on, he had his helmet on, and that photographer caught that beautiful picture of him riding in. And we ended up finding out that the Harley dealer restored the bike, but one of the people that helped pay for that was Jesse from Jackal. So we're figuring when we get into Sturgis, I don't know if he'll still be there. He's there right now. I don't know what his concert schedule kind of pops back in. That maybe we can get a little bit of interview with him about, you know, I know why he did it, but you know, maybe he knows a little bit more about details about what they did to the bike or had to do to it to get it to restore it back to original and get it back to where it's a good bike. I don't know if the bike's been running. Like I said, we don't know the whole story. That probably, you know, all those fumes and the dust and all that stuff probably got inside the motor and stuff. So I don't know if the bike, whatever happened, because the building ended up falling on this guy. He was trapped for a little while and he got out. So yeah, there's going to be a really good, if we can get the interview, we made some calls to the city and stuff, and we're going to try to see what happens. But I mean, that'll be something to be after the rally to talk about the sea and things like that. But we're hoping to maybe at least if nothing else, we'll get him on a camera so you can see who he is and stuff like that.
And I said we come and he's supposed to come out and meet Wyatt.
Oh, okay. And
Not to let us know.
And it's really cool. I think that they couldn't have picked. First, they listed the guy's name, and I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Well, then they sent me the whole the media kit because we're signed up for media for the city of Sturgis. And she sent it all to us, and I read it all. And she called me the other day, and she said, "Hey, did you see that?" And you know, we're kind of looking around for some people to do interviews with him. And I said, you know, we're definitely interested. So let us know if you want us to do something with him. We'll be more than happy to take care of him. What we've gotten is just a great rapport with most of the people that we deal with. That we're not out here to slander anybody. We're not out here to make fun of anybody. You know, we're not going to show you people dropping bikes. We're not going to show accidents that happen. You know, we'll talk about different things, but we're not going to show you things that, you know, that's what we always tell the dealerships and vendors and stuff. If we ever quit this, we're going to write one hell of a book about what goes on behind the scenes of motorcycle racing, because we see so much stuff.
5 minutes.
I said shelves. So it's just now you lost me.
So we see so much stuff. We're going to be
Oh, yeah.
writing a book. Maybe.
So most of the people that we deal with, owners of bars, things like that, is like the Full Throttle Saloon gives us full access. You know, Curtis over there at the Knuckle, full access. you know, there's so many people that we can just walk into their establishment because they know we're not going to show something that's going to make them look bad. There's enough bad crap going in the world as it is. And we're not clickbaiters. That's one of the reasons we only have 33,000 subscribers. We're not one of the ones with 100, 200, 300, or a million subscribers because we're showing them all that crazy stuff that's going on. Just trying to give you out really good information. And, you know, we are who we are. Appreciate everybody. We thank everybody for watching our channel and being with us. And a lot of you have been with us since this whole 7 years. And it's been a good time. We're not looking to quit. We enjoy what we do. We just don't know where, you know,
Where the
our
road is going to lead us.
yeah. And each year, and we've just noticed, I don't know if it's because we didn't have a motorcycle at a couple of rallies this year, because I did talk a little about Myrtle Beach. We ended up having, which if you watch the channel, a fair and exchange gave me a bike for a day, about almost 2 days. They gave us one, and then Rick Rack gave it to us for 4 days there. We didn't have it for the full time, but it worked out all right. And we did have a car. I got a great deal on a car. It was like $29 a day. And so it was really easy to get a car. The Ubers were crazy. So we were okay with getting around, but same thing. It was just the viewership was
And
just
Steven helped us and
yeah,
got us around, but he didn't sign up for that. He said we could stay with him. He didn't say nothing about being our chauffeur.
yeah. So we picked up a car for a couple of days when we first got there, and then we picked a car up a couple of days at the end, and then we had the motorcycles in between. But it was just like, I don't know, it just didn't. Which the rallies have been this year has just never seemed like they've gotten into a groove. That it just seemed like I was always battling everything to get done. So I don't know. She's thinking maybe we're getting bored with what we do. That it's the excitement's not there anymore, which we've lost a lot of things. You know, Teddy Morris there, we used to be, Shelley Rossmeyer was so good with us. She'd let us do anything in the world. Teddy has management, and we had one great manager there for Oktoberfest last year, but this year they got a new manager. He was just, I don't know what happened there. We just
know
don't.
us.
Well, we look at it as I spend a lot of time making really good relationships with these dealerships that work with us. And, you know, and it takes a little time.
When there's a
to prove.
turnover, a lot of times we'll go to a place and then we're like, oh, talk to so-and-so, blah, blah. Oh, they're not here anymore. They're left. It's like, okay. Then we maybe try to make connections with that new person. And then we go back next year, they're gone. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Well, that's the only good thing that I like about Black Hills Harley. Because who else is it?
Mike
It-
Malone.
Yeah, Mike, that used to be the parking attendant, is now the GM. So we've been dealing with him for the 7 years that we've been involved with.
Great guy.
Yep. And we've never asked them for anything, which they did. We had my bike shipped there. They loaned us a bike a couple times last year to give us a bike. They let us take
And when
out.
we do a meet and greet, they'll sometimes give us some stuff to give away.
Yeah.
Stuff like
So
that.
they've always been really good to us. But I mean, most of the time, what I look at is just being able to have, because we talk about the Buffalo chip. And at the Buffalo chip, it's like a rocky road there. That they're mad last year because we did so much coverage of the chip or the full throttle last year. And I said, well, the problem that you have is it's like a battle every time I come there, where Woody's the greatest guy in the world. He would do anything in the world for us, but it's dealing through all of his management to get where we need to go.
Each department is like its own little
And for me, we don't have that much time, especially when the rally starts. I don't have that much time to spend with people. Here we are. We're willing to talk to you. Well, and you wouldn't believe how I should film all this. Maybe we should do this maybe this year, that the people we talk to will say, okay, here's the first time we try to get a hold of this guy. Here's the excuse. And 99% of the people we're talking to pay us nothing. They're getting free advertising from us. And it's like,
well, like a lot of you guys will say, for instance, not to throw anybody under the bus, but Hog Heaven, the campground, they're like, why don't you guys ever do Hog Heaven? Why don't you go out to Hog Heaven? And we did, same thing. Go out there, we call, go out there, call, go out there. And it's like, okay.
Well, it was always an excuse. First
you
time
let us know when you're ready.
She didn't look good enough. Come back another day. Come back next day. I'm too busy.
Well, they couldn't find the keys, remember? She had lost the keys. She couldn't get into a lot of the different buildings.
So there was always, but it got to the point, but it's like Devin's on here. And that's why it's lemonade stand. Why it's most time sometimes we just show up.
Yes.
But sometimes we call ahead and say, hey, we're going to come by on this day.
I will tell them we're having a live down at the Loud American and they'll stop by. And
yeah. So it's easy. So it works for both of us. It works for him. And it works because he gets the free advertising, and then we get the time that we can spend with him, and we didn't have to spend a lot of time making that contact work. And a lot of the places we deal with are like that we don't have a lot of trouble with, that we can call up and say, hey, we're here, because they know that's one of the reasons we like to get to the rally so early. Now, Sturgis is a whole,
Exception to the rule.
yes, because there's no other rally we can spend 9 weeks at, because we couldn't afford to stay at most of these. So most of them we show up a day or two ahead or 3 days ahead, and that's as early as we like. If we go to Biketoberfest, we'll probably get there on Tuesday. It starts on Thursday. And so we're only there a day or two before it starts. But you can't hit all the places before it starts. Especially with that Oktoberfest really screws me up, because it's only 4 days, and it's like, we're used to 10, and it's not even half the time. But it is a good way in the year with, you end up with Biketoberfest, and you kind of come down to where this year I've got a lot more footage. If we go back, if I get all my footage fixed up to where I already have it in place, I don't have to spend as much time. But this year they're asking for something a little different on us, handling it a little different, which I got to talk to him tomorrow about that and see how he wants to do that. I got some ideas. He wants to kind of bounce them off.
Evan says that's the way it should work.
and it should be. And when you deal with these people, it's like the Iron Horse. The Iron Horse is probably in Sturgis the hardest. Probably Daytona is the hardest place to deal with.
And when we meet them, they're great people, and they'll sit down and talk to us and everything. But to try to get them
say something,
yes, to get on camera, it's like, they're like, well, what do you want? Well, just tell us a little bit about to get people to come out to the Iron Horse. You can say whatever you want. I mean, we don't have a script for you, and
Then one time, a couple of years ago, we walked in. She's got her camera, and you all know what it looks like. It's got a little fuzzball on the end, and I've got my camera. And the guy goes, "What are you doing?" And we're like, well, "YouTube, you can't come in.
no filming allowed.
You got to
on
get
property.
approval. You got to get approval." And we stood out there probably 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm like, "Screw this. I don't need it. I don't need to go in the Iron
And
Horse."
while we were sitting there, while he went in to try to get approval,
Yeah, Prime Cut walked by, which
With
has got
their
a million,
camcorders.
yeah, with 1 million subscribers, and all he is filming is girls going wild and crazy there, and not even giving you what's going on. And I tell you, I said, you had no idea. You just missed probably one of the biggest YouTubers that are here. Just walked by you. The two guys together. He's probably got close to 1 million subscribers now. He had 600 last time I looked. The other one's got over 1 million. So you got right there is the biggest YouTubers that are in the area together, are the largest numbers that are there, and you didn't even catch it. So then, of course, we call the person we know after the fact. And it's like, well, I'm sorry. And one other time there was a girl in there, and she says, we don't need to let you. We don't want you filming.
we don't need your advertising.
And so then that's when I said, I don't need you either. There's plenty of bars out here that love this to come in. Probably about the only place we only got to talk to them for about 10 seconds, but we've never had any trouble at is Loud American. And we never really got to talk to either one of the two owners there. And but I mean,
Devin knows.
we've never ever had any trouble there. They've always let us in the film. Nobody's ever asked us not to
We
film
always
there.
do our lives out there.
Yeah,
so-
and they've always given us that area. Yeah, we've always done lives
table.
out there. Because one time we were there, and the girl said, "We wondered if you guys were ever going to show up or not," because we had did some lives. Because the more popular we get it when we're in a town like that, they're like, "Why don't you do a live from our place? Why don't you do a live from there?" Well, we just like that because it works really good usually.
Well, and you're right on Main Street in Sturgis. That's the
And they got a
popular
place to
thing.
sit. It's not like, one sexy biker chicks like us to sit down there, but you don't really have a table that we can sit out on the street and watch. And so, like we've done before the rally, we'll do the Sturgis hotel. He's got the coffee shop there, and we'll sometimes sit in there. He'll let us sit in there. And he's always been really good to us too. And like I say, most of the places, we don't really have any real trouble with, because probably the difference between us and everybody else is I don't normally ask permission to film anything. We just come in with cameras and we start filming. And if somebody comes up to us and says, "Hey, you can't film," which I did in Daytona, Main Street Bar, had asked us one time, told us we couldn't film. And we ended up coming in with Billy, and because I was filming the girls with him. So I don't know.
We were getting ready to do the bikini
I know
contest.
she had trouble a few years ago in 2020. She was open, and they told her not to be open, and because of the pandemic and all that. And so I think there's stuff that was going on, but now I don't know what's going on. So we don't really. It's gotten to be a point. Once again, we have so many bars that I don't have to cover every single one of them. So I kind of look to see if I can find the places that work with us the best is the places I want to go to, because it's easy to get in. They're glad to see us. You know, if I say, hey, I need a seat, can you get me, you know, you got a concert going on, can we, you know, we really want to hear it, can you get us someplace up close so we can watch it? Because a lot of times some of the concerts I can film if they talk. It's like Kid Rock. When Kid Rock comes out and does his little talking thing before he starts, I can film that because there's no music behind. But once the music starts, like that's what ended up happening with Hank Jr. He kept, I'm like, we got there for Hank Jr.'s concert. We're right up front. But he'd say like 4 words and he'd start playing a song already. It's like, I can't use
And he'd
any of
talk
that.
through the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Like he'd play the whole intro or, you know, the prelude, whatever. And while he's playing that, he's talking. It's like,
And it's sad. And maybe if I finally get through all my videos and get through all the things, I can actually finally make
it's through the years.
Yeah, because I think we pretty much have filmed him since the beginning too.
When I
And,
see him, I mean, just here when Robin put up his before school year picture this year and his ending one, oh my gosh, you can tell he's like a young man now. He's
Yeah.
not a kid anymore.
which we see that a lot because we as we travel, even with our grandkids, we got one 17-year-old that's 6'2" or 6'3" now.
Yep.
And
almost got a full beard.
yeah.
It's like, dude, you need to shave. You're only 16.
he's got to shave every day,
Yeah.
or he looks like he's got what I got in one day. Where it takes me a year to get what I got.
But his dad's the same way. His dad's pretty
But
hairy.
it's people we all get older, and they're getting older too. And it's like I always tell people, especially when you have kids, you got to grab a hold as soon as you find them, as soon as you have them, because before you know it, it's like us. I look at our daughters and I can remember them being little kids. Now they're in their 40s. Like, holy crap, what happened to that?
You know, our
And-
youngest daughter said, Mom, at the end of the year, I'm going to have 2 adult children because her youngest one will be 18 and the older one's 20. And I said, yeah, just wait till you have 2 40-year-olds. She said, I don't want to think about that. I said, well, that's where I'm at.
And so, yeah, time really goes by quick. And that's one of the reasons we do what we do too, is people always say that you're living you're living the dream. And it is. We would have never gone to most of the states that we've been through. The rallies, I would have never gone to most of we talked about Daytona for years about going out there, but it just didn't. I wanted to ride out there with my buddy Art, and we only had 2-week vacation, and we're not going to get on the bike and ride 500 or that way. You'd have to ride almost
$800
800 to 900 miles a day to get there in 2 or 3, in 2 days, because you just
And
don't. We
people
don't
do that.
Yeah, because you got 10 days for the rally, so you only get 14 days off. So you would have to hustle if you wanted to be there for the full time. But I mean, if I'm going to go 2,000 miles, I want to be there as long as I can. So we kept talking about it and never did it. We did Sturgis a few years, rode into that. It used our 2-week vacation there, but we never got any more than that for the time we had worked for the companies that we
And
worked
there's
with.
still only 2 states continental that we haven't been to, which is West Virginia and North Dakota.
Other than that, we've been to all 50. And so it is. And some of the things that we've seen and experienced and it is breathtaking. And it's just,
Wouldn't trade it for nothing.
and the people that we've met is
All of you
priceless too.
guys, and a lot of you guys we've met, most of you that are on here, so that's pretty cool.
And that is cool. It's cool to put a face to a name. I don't remember everybody's name. I remember most people's faces, but I don't always remember a name. But it is great just to see the people. And sometimes we are shocked. Sometimes we got somebody pictured in our mind, and then when we meet them, it's like, we used to have a guy on our channel. He hasn't been on a long time. I don't know if he's even alive anymore. He was called Bender Ben. And this guy is tattooed from head to toe.
He's got tattoos on his eyelids. When
Yeah.
he closes his eyes, it
It's
looks
an
like
eye.
his eyes are open.
Yeah. And I met him first it was at the Iron Horse. He was at a bike. He brought his bike in. He had a bike he built, and he rode up from
It
Texas.
looked like a rat rod.
And I never really had very much money.
We lived in Colorado.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Colorado? And he rode the bike up, and he met me first, and he goes, "I want to talk to Tam." I said, "Well, let's do it this way." I told her to close her eyes, and then she could open it when she's seen him.
I was excited to see him. I gave him a big hug and everything. He thought I would pass out because he was just, he had tattoos from head to toe. I mean, he was.
It's just not what we would have. I would have thought older than what he was, and wouldn't have thought that many tattoos. That's just with the voice it didn't sound like the same. And it's kind of like when I used to work for the gas company. We always had all these dispatchers, but most of them were all women. And you'd picture them in your head. And then if you ever stop by the call center where they're all at, you're like, oh, you're not at all what I was picturing. You're a lot different than I thought. You didn't. Most of them had radio voices. They didn't have movie
TV
star
voices.
All right, so we've been on over 2 hours, and so next week I don't know if we'll do a live or not because we're going to be on the road. On the road again. We'll be probably in Utah someplace. So depending on the internet, you guys can look for us. If we come on around the same time, our normal time, we'll be on. I probably won't pre-arrange like I did here. I did it yesterday. So some of you might have got notified. So kind of keep an eye out for us. Once we get in the Sturgis, we'll probably start doing our Sundays for sure. We'll do Sundays every week until the rally starts. So you'll be able
Probably
to look
doing
at that.
them from throttle.
Yeah.
Or bike,
Yeah.
motorcycles. Maybe
Yeah.
it's bikes, cars, motorcycles,
I know,
motorcycles, cars. And
He's been
guitars.
posting it on the channel talking about.
Something like that. It's motorcycles, cars, and guitars.
And it is a great time. It's just something else that the Full Throttle does, and it's kind of cool to go to. But we missed the first weekend here. We're actually going to miss 2 weekends. But it's as the weeks get closer and closer to Sturgis, it gets
More
and
people.
it's just a cool hangout. We usually get there around 11 or 12 and hang around all afternoon there. I think it's over. But as the days get longer too,
I
and,
think 4 or 5 is when they announce the car show and bike show. And then they'll have a band until about that time. And then it kind
the
of
band's
all fizzles out.
inside. Band's inside. Outside, they got music just playing. Be pretty cool, and I'm kind of excited. I'm just excited right now about all the stuff we're going to see that's been done. So you guys, for the first couple weeks, you're going to see a lot of stuff to be shocked about. Thinking, wow. If you're not going, some of you said you can't make it this year. You're going to be going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going to miss this new stuff that they set up. Pretty kind of neat. And the Full Throttle now has opened up the front section now as part of their general admission. Only the very, very front, which is VIP, and the bridges will be the only things that you have to have a ticket for other than general admission. You got to have the wristbands. But wristband will get you all the way almost up to the front of the stage. Be kind of like the Full Throttle upload chip. How they got the VIP section up front. It's going to be a lot like that, but not riding your motorcycle.
Hey, Neil.
That we're going to leave you right here. Say a little bit.
So thanks for hanging out with us. We love all of you guys. We appreciate you. Appreciate all of your support and hanging out with us and the thick and thin of it all and through all these years. Don't forget to support our sponsors. They're the ones that are helping us chug along here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications. And you on the next.
And we want to thank Eric for stopping in here.
And Marcus.
Yep. And for coming on today and giving you guys a little bit of taste of something that they're doing.
Don't forget about Twisted Tea. Keep it
yeah.
twisted.
And we'll be talking to them again this week too, getting that all set, a final setup with them.
Showing you how you can win something.
And you don't have to mind. That's
No
pretty cool thing.
obligation.
So we do appreciate you all. We thank all of you. And you're right here. And like I say, go to the Bob and Tam's Cars, Trucks, and Motorcycles. I got a really short video tomorrow on there. It's about an electric car, but it's still, you actually get to see one of our daughters.
Oldest one.
And my grandson that is going to school to be an editor, which is a 17-year-old, 6'2" one, edited this. I'm thinking Dad might have really good. In the middle. Front and the end is us. Then they did the part in the middle. It'd be kind of cool for you guys to look out. I think the person that gave us the part will be really happy. They only want the part. They wanted us to say this.
They don't want us in it.
Well, they wanted us to say it's a 20% discount if you order with our code and all that stuff.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Typical. Pretty cool. And y'all here.
Talk to you later.
Here, you already had it on the little
Yeah,
button.
I did.
Bye.